Another great matchup for you here tonight at Invisalign Arena. Chris Lehman, Nick Perazzi, back with you as the NC State Ice Pack gets set to take on the Maryland Terrapins. NC State off of a strong performance last weekend, sweeping a 2-game set against the Texas A&M Aggies. It was a come-from-behind victory in the first one, but the second night on Saturday, NC State blew the doors off the Aggies and came home with a dominant win. And Nick, that's what they're looking to bring into this weekend.
Yeah, after last weekend's really big offensive explosion we saw the last 4 periods against A&M, it's going to be really key for this NC State team to bring it in, especially when they have a tough matchup in Maryland tonight, who only allowed 2 goals on 30-plus shots against them a couple weeks ago back in Virginia. So a familiar foe, but the question will be, can the offense get it going again?
Well, the other thing for NC State about this game tonight, it is a ranked opponent in the region, in the Southeast region, Maryland at number 18. NC State, of course, with the new rankings coming out, leapfrogging North Carolina, moving from 9 up to 8 now. So it is a ranked opponent, but I just mentioned North Carolina. There's that game looming on Monday night, the Governor's Cup. You cannot look past this Maryland team, though.
No, and that was one of my first game notes I wrote was, do not look past this game if you're NC State. You cannot look past it. This is still a very big division game. Maryland now in the ACC-HL, so having them in your division, having them at home, it's going to be really, really hard for NC State to kind of focus on this game when they know what's coming up on Monday. So the goal will be, can you focus on this game today, make the adjustments that you didn't make against Maryland 2 weeks ago, and walk out with a W tonight?
Absolutely. I think one thing that is good and bodes well for NC State coming off of last weekend is this Maryland team going to be a little bit better, but a very similar team to that Texas A&M team. They rely heavily on Newnham to put the puck at the back of the net, do the Terrapins. They're a team that likes to capitalize off the rush. They move in transition quickly, and NC State saw a lot of that last weekend against Texas A&M. And as we look at that 2-game set, NC State, I think, did a really good job, particularly in that second game, of shutting down the neutral zone when they needed to and not allowing A&M a lot of chances to get out in transition.
And even going into that first game, Chris, where A&M did jump out to a 2-goal lead, 2-0, NC State was just not letting them lead their own defensive zone at that point. They were just dominating the forecheck, and that is kind of the way this team plays. They're going to dominate the forecheck. They're going to make it hard for you to get out into neutral zone and break out. So the question will be today, can NC State keep that going? Because the way they've been playing their last couple of games, they've looked like the more dominant team. The question, of course, will be, can they get goals off of that?
Yeah, and of course, as you mentioned, NC State struggled a bit to score in that game against Maryland a couple weekends ago. They struggled to score in general that weekend, but they seemed to have that figured out last weekend as they were able to pick up plenty against Texas A&M. We're going to step aside here for a minute. When we come back, we talked about some of the similarities between Maryland and Texas A&M. We'll take a little bit of a closer look at the Terrapins. But NC State, Maryland hockey coming up shortly.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, ice pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all ice pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
From the top of D.H. Hill Library.
Don Diablo.
Oh yeah, this is actually like in my studio.
WKNC HD3 Raleigh.
Hey, what's up and what's going on, folks? It's Kid Kinetic, your boy up here at the top of the hour. And guess what I got? A treat that's too sweet to beat.
This is Wolf Bites Radio.
Oh, that's really sweet.
NC State.
Oh, stupid controller froze again.
Spending less money,
so... if you guys want any... OMG, it's McGruff!
Yes, I am.
He's not my Uncle McGruff, the crime dog! He's a fake!
Oh!
I am McGruff, the crime dog.
He is the fake, and so is that controller you're holding. It's gonna break. Let's take a bite out of crime together.
Who says you're not the fake?
Dude, you're literally missing it.
You are smart, kids. You're smart.
buys one.
A little over 10 minutes until NC State and Maryland drop the puck here at Invisalign Arena. Chris Lehman, Nick Perazzi back with you pre-game. And as we mentioned before the break, there are some similarities between this Maryland team and the Aggies that NC State saw out of Texas A&M last weekend. And the place I want to start, I mentioned Max Newnham before we went to break. He's really kind of the catalyst offensively for this team. Reminds me a little bit of Robbie Sowers from last weekend. Really good shot, can make you pay in transition, and he's the guy really to look out for on this Terrapins team.
Yeah, Max Newnham is actually 17th in all of Division 1, 2, and 3 ACHA hockey, and goals scored was 17. He's second in the ACC HL. He's also second in points, 17 goals, 28 points in total. So a really lethal player coming into Invisalign Arena tonight is going to be really key for NC State to kind of key in on him and take him out. But another key factor for NC State is going to be getting the shots on their goaltender.
Yeah, and that's where we want to turn next. NC State's seen plenty of good goaltending this season. We've seen plenty of it here at Invisalign Arena, and Henri Peltier is going to be a tough test. It was a tough test for NC State last couple of weekends ago, and he's going to be another tough test tonight. We heard Eric Mura talking after warm-ups about some of the things that NC State wants to do tonight, and one of them is take the eyes away from the netminder Peltier.
Yeah, and Peltier is coming in with a 2.86 goals against average, held the ice pack to just 2 goals when they put up nearly 40 shots that previous meeting. So you mentioned the similarities with Texas A&M. That's one of the big differences is in net for Maryland tonight. It's going to be if NC State can kind of take their eyes or get the goaltender's eyes to kind of get off of the puck, get some screens and crash the net. That's what Eric Mura said are the goals tonight, and I think that is absolutely right for what NC State has to do.
Well, and one thing that's been a little bit of a struggle for Maryland this year is they've had a few injuries to some key players, but they did get a key player back last weekend. Only got to play a few games before he was hurt, but Matt Kravitsky back in the lineup, part of that top line with Newnham, and he's going to be a key piece in making sure that their top player is able to be productive again tonight.
Yeah, and that's really key for Maryland because kind of the deeper line depth, third, fourth line, not really many points going on there, if any, for some of these players. You have played all these games, so it's a little bit of a top-heavy line situation for Maryland. So able to get a player like that back for Maryland is going to be really huge, as well as they're going to get a couple players back in the future. They're expecting Body to be back very soon.
Yeah, but for NC State tonight, we're going to get to the keys of the game shortly. We're going to take one more quick break. When we come back, we've talked about some of those keys already. We're going to highlight them again and wrap things up as we get set for the puck to drop between the Ice Pack and the Terrapins.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, ice pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all ice pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
It's time to talk about men's mental health.
80% of suicides are done by men.
Men are 3 times less likely to ask for help if they are struggling.
1 man every minute
commits suicide.
Men are more likely to suffer from substance abuse disorders. Alcohol kills 6 times more men than women.
Men are 3 times less likely to ask for help if they are struggling.
We've never needed each other more
than we do right now.
It's okay to not be okay.
It's okay to talk about how you feel.
Being silent doesn't mean you're being strong.
This is a movement for men's health.
The silence needs to be broken.
Men need support too.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma. The stigma.
The stigma ends here.
The stigma ends here.
Chris Lehman and Nick Perazzi back with you here at Invisalign Arena as we get closer and closer to the start of this one between your NC State Ice Pack and the Maryland Terrapins. As I mentioned before the break, we're going to talk about kind of the keys to the game for NC State. We've highlighted a few of them. The first one I want to talk about that we've only talked about a little bit is that forecheck. You in particular mentioned how efficient it was last weekend for NC State, how difficult it made it for Texas A&M at times, and I think that's going to be important. We talked about the transition game and the strength of it for Maryland. Keeping them in their own zone is one way to avoid that.
Yeah, and when you see number 19 out there, Max Noonan out for Maryland, that's going to be really the big emphasis for this game, is because NC State forecheck that line and keep them in the defensive zone. They also have a couple of other great guys. Trevor Drake, one of them, with 16 assists on that first line for Maryland. Is going to be, can NC State shut down that first line tonight for Maryland just because of the little bit of lackluster production that the bottom couple lines for Maryland give? Can they limit that first line tonight? And I think that's going to be really the big key for NC State.
And building off of that at forecheck, it's something that, of course, NC State has done pretty darn well most of the season. There's also the fact that, we talked about with last week, there are a couple times where they took a breath, they kind of let things slide in transition, and the Aggies made them pay. I think that's going to be the same case here this evening. If you're NC State, you can't kind of fall asleep at the wheel, so to speak. You have to be on your toes defensively. You've got to be able to retreat from that blue line and stop anything in transition.
Yeah, when we spoke to Maryland's head coach, Joe Carter, he also mentioned that it's going to be really key to stay out of the box for Maryland, which is something Texas A&M did pretty well the first game and a little bit early on in the second period of the second game. However, if they're able to get that first line out there and they get something like Texas A&M generated with that breakaway, that all-man rush, that could be kind of the key to success today. And he mentioned there's going to be a lot of adjustments made after that first period. Not looking to make any adjustments since the first game, both of these teams matched up. So it'll be really interesting to see if they're able to hold that first line in check, or will Maryland be able to break out of it?
Yeah, I think the final thing for me when you talk about pieces to watch and keys to this game is going to be the goaltending match. And of course, we've talked about Henri Peltier. He's going to be a tough test. If you're NC State, get traffic in front. Don't let him see the puck. Clean it up in front, kind of like they did on that Holden Kaufman goal to get things started against A&M last Friday. So that's going to be very important. But you're also going to need to have a good, strong effort in net from Eric Daniel. And he's seen plenty of time. It's been a pretty healthy rotation for these goaltenders. But as we've seen at times, especially last weekend against A&M, there were long stretches where Addison Lawrence did not see any kind of action, and you're going to have to do a good job of staying in the game, staying there mentally, and being ready to stop those shots in transition, as they will inevitably come.
Yeah, and I think this game, that rhythm isn't going to be as big as a factor just because of Maryland's top two lines. I think they'll be able to get down the ice and get a couple shots on goal, but like you mentioned, when that third and fourth line are out there for Maryland, is the rhythm going to be messed up for Eric Daniel? We saw the last game, it wasn't as messed up, but can this game, or is the rhythm going to be messed up for Daniel, or is he going to be able to take on that challenge?
All right, well, as you may have been able to tell, the lights are going down here at Invisalign Arena as both teams get set to take the ice. We'll take one final break, and when we come back, we've got puck drop between NC State and Maryland.
From the top of D.H. Hill Library.
Don Diablo. Oh yeah, this is actually in my studio.
WKNC HD3 Raleigh.
Hey, what's up and what's going on, folks? This is Kid Kinetic, your boy, up here at the top of the hour. And guess what I got? A treat that's too sweet to beat.
This is Wolf Bites Radio.
Oh, that's really sweet.
NC State.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, ice pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all ice pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Hey there, doing some yard work? Installing a new fence, flowers, or shrubs? Stop! Don't dig just yet! You have buried gas, electric, and even internet lines down there. Before you pick up a shovel, pick up a phone or go online and contact 811. 811 is a free service. Yes, free! 811 is the first step to having those buried utilities marked. 811 keeps you safe, protects the lines, and it's the law. This safety message brought to you by North Carolina 811.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
I'm with 2018 lacrosse national champion Christian Gaudy for the FDA's Don't Get Burned Sunscreen Challenge.
Bring it, Daryl.
She's tough, but I won't get burned today. I'm using a broad spectrum sunscreen.
The FDA recommends broad spectrum sunscreens with an SPF of 15 or higher with other sun protection measures to reduce the risk of sunburn and skin cancer.
You smoked me, Kristen.
That's because I use sunscreen so I wouldn't get burned by you and the sun.
Broad spectrum sunscreen. It's a winning play every time.
Welcome back to Invisalign Arena here in Morrisville, North Carolina. Chris Lehman, Nick Barassi with you as we get set for this one between NC State and Maryland. They're announcing the starting lineups now. So take a look down there for NC State. Got that top line of Joey Govea, Holden Kaufman, and Nick Shook.
Yeah, so key today for NC State, like we mentioned in the pregame, is going to be all about getting pucks on net and try to disrupt Henri Pelletier. If they could do that, I think they're in for some good success tonight. But Maryland does well with their lethal attack on that first line. It might keep this game very, very close, and that might be the key for Maryland tonight.
Well, they're set for the national anthem. We'll take a look at the rest of the starting lineups after we throw it down to the ice. you saw the ceremony out there with the ceremonial puck drop, as it is the Stephen Russell Memorial Night, as NC State once again honors former goaltender Stephen Russell, who was a goaltender for the Ice Pack from 2006 to 2009. Unfortunately lost his life on July 4th of 2009. And as you saw down there, they were presenting a jersey to the Buckleys, Kelly Brady Buckley, the only jersey I would say that has that number 20 from the Frozen Finland game. So a nice moment there as we get set for some hockey. 20 minutes up on the clock, and Nick, it should be a good one tonight. Like I mentioned ice pass, looking for the break, gets off his stick and ramps up and out of play. It'll be a face-off in Maryland zone here, just 19 seconds out.
And this is going to be really key for NC State, getting that offensive zone face-off. Can they win the face-off and start putting the pressure on Maryland's defense as well as Peltier and keep that first line for Maryland in check?
The draw, bouncing puck off the shin of Kaufman. Eventually it filters over to Shook, whose shot is blocked on the way through. Swept around the wall and up. Trevor Drake looking to clear. Nice pinch there by Thronson to hold the zone. Help there though for the Terps, and they'll look to push it out. A pinching Govea steps in to take the loose puck, and eventually it'll be Drake sweeping it out. Cross ice, he's able to find Max Newnham. Drags around Labrizzi in front, and he loses the handle on it. NC State had a pair of defensemen back there to make the play. But still pressure from Maryland. Walking in, they score! Tucker Healy with his 9th of the season, and just 52 seconds in, Maryland takes the lead.
Well, we mentioned that first line. We've been saying it pretty much ever since we came on air. Can NC State stop that first line for Maryland? And the first 52 seconds is no. Tucker Healy gets really the rebound of the shot that Newnham just couldn't get a stick on to finish it. And it's a simple 5-hole on Eric Daniel. It's 1-0 Maryland quickly.
Here's the goal scorer, Healy. Again, same spot. Fakes the shot. Ooh, it almost trickled in through the legs of Daniel, as I don't think that was the shot that Healy was looking for. Maryland, though, will keep the pressure on. Far corner, stolen away by Cade Cox. He'll pitch it off the glass and out. NC State going to chase after it. Marini with the wheels puts the pressure on Sandell, whose clearance is held in by Herman. He'll shovel it out in front. That's intercepted by Healy, and Maryland turns it back the other way. Elevated pass out in the neutral ice, corralled there by Cade Cox. He'll find his deep partner, Ricky Frosch, who sends it deep. Set on a tee behind the net by Peltier. Pressure here from NC State to force it backwards. Sandell again. Cross ice for Healy. He goes right back across, and it'll be chipped in. Beganowski. NC State first to the loose puck. Emery Oliver pestered from behind, able to hold on to the puck as he crosses the blue line. Looking over the far side, he's got Bresingham. Bresingham tries to slide it back, but he gets tied up. Puck is loose there. Emery Oliver first to it. He'll send it back into the corner. Chipped right back up and out by Maryland. NC State controls in neutral ice. That's number 6, Kate McConaughey, who chips it deep. Zone opposite, Daniel Tomaszewski's the first to it. Maryland trying to break it out. NC State steals it. High slot. Robinson takes the shot. Not sure if it got through to Peltier or not, but it ended up wide. Maryland back in control. Off the glass, bouncing puck, held in by a crouching Cowan. And NC State will go back to work. Oliver has poked off his stick, and Bresingham's shot is up into the netting behind the goal. But Nick, good pressure here from NC State.
Yeah, we mentioned it. There really are two big keys going into this game: Maryland's first line and NC State's forecheck. And we saw Maryland's first line have success early on. Now is NC State's forecheck getting the success right now. But the big question mark for this NC State forecheck that we saw last Friday against Texas A&M, they could get all this pressure, but can they put the puck in the back of the net?
McEnany wins the draw for NC State. Back to Cowan. He'll risk one through traffic, catches the wall behind the goal. NC State will win possession in the near corner. Chipped back behind the net by Harmon. Maryland trying to ship it up the wall, unable to do so. Back for it, Tomaszewski for the Terps. He'll look up for Drake. Slides it over to the middle, has an open man there. A good breakout here for Maryland. Second pass up to the blue line, intercepted. And the D-man for NC State is Kim McGonigal. Rips the shot through traffic, and a glove save made by Peltier. Get another face-off in front of the Maryland net line.
Yeah, NC State doing a good job keeping it in the offensive zone. Maryland, when they try to break it out, like you mentioned, McGonigal was there, able to take that puck away. Now you're coming back out with that first line for NC State. The question is, can they get success?
They'll possess off the draw. Govea along the hashes. Chips it into the corner. They'll scrum for it there. Work back to the point. Bronson. D to D with Labrisi. He'll look things over. Fires one at the net. That hit his stick and then went up into the ceiling. But NC State continues with that sustained pressure. If you look over at the shot totals, they've taken a lot of shot attempts. Only one of them has actually gotten on goal.
Yeah, and it was McConaughey's shot that went right into the glove of Peltier, so they're getting the shots.
There's a chance they score! Nick Shook off the draw. It hit something in front, and Peltier didn't stand a chance. We're tied at 1.
Well, the timing of that couldn't have been any better there, Chris. Went a little too long there trying to discuss it, but right off the faceoff, just a one-timer from Shook, and he's got a very friendly bounce right as he shot it to stay down low, and a quick answer to tie it. Shots are now even at 2-2 on goal. And really, NC State, I was going to say that right before, NC State's been dominating the face-off game right now. I don't think they've lost more than 2, if any, yet in this game. As they take a look at the net behind Peltier right now, and I feel like every game that net has something going wrong with it, but that's one way to answer back if you're NC State. Have your one of your leading goal scorers, Nick Shook, able to make a quick play. Really good job by the freshman.
Yeah, for Shook, that is goal number 12. He leads all Ice Pack members right now with 12 goals. But I think they're trying to make sure that there's nothing trapped in the net back there in terms of any warm-up pucks or anything. And there might be one just kind of stuck back in there. You don't want to get confused as to where the puck is, have it stuck in some equipment, and then wrongfully award a goal because you find one in the net. That's exactly what they find, an extra puck. But it will be 1-1, 16:38 to go in this first period. We talked about the responsiveness of NC State plenty of times this season. We see it again there. Only took about a minute and a half, a little bit longer, to get that equalizer.
That kind of reminds me of that Texas A&M game last Saturday where they went down 1-0 quickly, but the adversity of this Ice Pack team got them back tied just like that.
Easy. Over to Thronson on the near side. He'll skate it forward. Left for Brenner. Cross ice, he finds Bressingham into the middle. Firing away right into the gut of Peltier is Oliver. And another offensive zone draw for NC State. By my count, this is draw number 7. And it's at least the 4th draw that has been in Maryland territory.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how many NC State has won, but it may be 5 or 5 right now. So that's a big story to watch.
Win another one. One-time shot again. This time it was Arini, and it was directed wide. Another good chance for NC State. Now it's the Terrapin captain moving forward. Biganowski down that far left wing, swats at one. It trickles back behind the net where NC State can regather and turn it back the other way. Cox chips it off the wall on the far side. It'll be furthered along by Arini. In on the forecheck is Herman. They'll squirt the puck loose. Cox finds it over in that far corner. He'll twist with it. Back to Harmon. Out in front. And NC State didn't get a stick to it. Biganowski moving forward with Healy. He'll sweep it in as the Terrapins need a change. Nifty little move there from Cox. He'll bank it off the wall, looking for his captain, Rainey. Overshot the target. Maryland back in control. Andre Serra. He'll throw it off the near side boards, and it slides all the way behind the NC State net. Ricky Frosch backhands it up the wall for Robinson. He'll chop at it and send it down the near side. Arini first to the puck in Maryland territory. Swept across to the far side. Nobody there in a black jersey, and Maryland will pitch it out. There's Nuno. Passes pocket picked by Bressingham. Reverse the other way. Turn around, pass looking for Oliver a little bit behind him. But Ice Pack able to get back to it. Here's Robinson lurking with it. Over to the far side, Wally's got McConaughey. Shot through traffic, hit Bressingham and didn't get to the net. NC State maintains the pressure. Here's Oliver again. Back to the blue line for James. Pestered a little bit, floats one through. No one got a stick to it. NC State still in control. One-timer for McConaughey. Bodied down nicely by the goaltender. Peltier hasn't seen a ton of shots, but there's plenty of action in front of him.
Yeah, there certainly is. NC State, they're shooting the puck a lot. It's just they only have 4 on goal right now, but they're also getting a lot of action, sustaining time in the offensive zone, and they're not letting Peltier take a breath and take a second in that net.
NC State chips it in. They'll need to change themselves. Scooped up behind the net by Alex Sandell. He's got some space and some speed. Over to the near side, he finds Warner. Warner throws it off a defenseman in deep. He'll chase it down in the near corner. 4-man scrum there by the NC State net. It pops loose and the Ice Pack have it. Labrizzi whistles a pass past Scott Daniel, and it's going to make it the length of the ice. And we'll head back to the NC State end on an icing call.
It's going to be the first face-off on the NC State end that we're going to see today. Maryland has got to get something going, though. They only have really the goal that they have going on for them right now. Otherwise, it's been dumping it in and getting the line change. So it'll be very interesting to see if Maryland can sustain some zone time finally. But they've got to win a face-off first. Yeah, Maryland finally getting a face-off win, and they're getting it at the best time that they can get it. So if you're Maryland, you got to try to win this next one as well and get some momentum going and get some shots offensively. And a shame of 3 goals on the year. There's no wonder why they want to set him up. We mentioned kind of the lack of goal scoring and points getting further down the line for Maryland. So no wonder to why they want Travis Deshae to get the puck in the offensive end right now. Oh, and that shot there from McEnany. Peltier didn't stop all of it. It hit the top of his glove and fluttered back. He's very fortunate. It was a little high. And an early tripping call for Maryland, a team that doesn't take many penalties. And like you mentioned, the goal scorer, Tucker Healy, will go to the box 2 minutes for tripping. Big opportunity for NC State to take the lead here with all the zone time that they have offensively. Good pressure here from NC State. Cade Cox loads it up. No options there. He'll backtrack with it. Under some pressure, he turns it over, and Maryland clears it to center ice. Well, good job by Maryland killing off that first bit for NC State. There was a good shot by Nick Shook. You got your leading points getter in Cade Cox, giving it to your leading goal scorer, Nick Shook. That's always usually a recipe for success. Good D by Maryland, though.
Hermit flying through the ice, through the middle of the ice. Can't control the puck, though. Slid in on the goaltender Peltier, who freezes it for another faceoff.
Well, that is the leading goal scorer. My apologies to Zach Herman, Cade Cox, second with 17 right now. But that's the lethality of these NC State power play. You can have Cox and Shook on one line and then have Herman on the other. But Maryland doing a good job right now, limiting the shots on goal total for NC State.
A lot of times the way a power play will go is you get all that pressure early. Once that pressure is alleviated, it's hard to seal it back in again. NC State's second power play unit will try to do just that with 23 seconds left on the man advantage. Herman down below the goal line for Oliver. He'll turn away from pressure as Andre Serra knocks the puck loose. First one there, though, is Emery Oliver. Back up top for Robinson. He finds Labrizzi. Slid down low for Herman. Back up top, Robinson. Shot hits a stick and deflects to the near corner. Herman's got it. Backhanded up to Labrizzi. Pushed down low. He's got Herman again. Centered pass. One-timer. They score! A diving Arini finishes it off. I'm not sure if it came before or after the power play ended, but the Ice Pack with 2 straight, and they've got the lead.
Rini just flies in here like Superman to get this puck. And because he gets tripped up right there, and he's able to get a stick on it to redirect it, and Peltier didn't know what happened. That's one of those plays where when you get tripped, it's actually beneficial sometimes because you're in the right spot at the right time. Just get your stick on it, redirect it. And NC State, while it wasn't on the power play, I don't think, Chris, they will take that anyway as well, and you can consider that a power play goal anywhere but the stat points because it was generated because of the power play.
Exactly. As I look at my score sheet, 13:34 is when the penalty occurred. The goal happens at 11:31, so 3 seconds after the power play ended. But to your point, for all intents and purposes, it was a power play goal, as that's really not a lot of time for Maryland to get back to even strength. Terps will send it deep. NC State will break it out. Harmon. Over to Callan. His stretch pass too long for Brenner, but he's going to negate the icing. Put some pressure on Peltier, who almost turned it over. Now Max Noonan. He'll center it. Good back check there from Brenner to disrupt the play, but Maryland able to advance it. Now Drake. Knocked off the puck. Brenner scoops it up. He'll look across to the far side. He finds McEnany with some speed. McEnany going 1-on-3 against the Terrapins defense right now. Finds a lane down the near side, throws it to the net, and rebound pounced on by Peltier for another faceoff.
Well, once Maryland gets the puck into neutral ice, and believe it or not, that was their first line out there for Maryland. NC State kind of gets gritty with the back check and a little bit of the forecheck as well. And it's really that first line as Max Noonan comes off. We haven't really said his name that much other than that good odd man rush he had before. And that's because NC State's doing a fantastic job defensively.
NC State wins another offensive zone draw. They'll go to work. McEnany, Scott Daniel. He'll orbit the net with it. Ooh, he shovels a backhander towards the far post and didn't miss by much. Cade Cox spins one back towards the goal. Thrown towards the net now by Daniel. And he hit the side of the goal. Drake bodied up there by Cox. Puck loose and skates, and Maryland will clear it out to center ice again. Frosch reverses the direction. He finds Scott Daniel down the near side. He'll turn with it. Forced into the wall, puck squirts loose, it's McEnany behind the goal. He'll look out in front, hit a skate with that pass, but again, in comes Nick Shook to keep the pressure on. He'll pin it to the wall. Shook finds a lane loose, sends it to the middle. Daniel couldn't put it on goal. And again, Maryland tries to clear, but Cade Cox holds the blue line. He'll bank it off the wall, looking for McEnany. Maryland disrupts. Puck still being contested. Eventually, the Terps slap it out of the zone. NC State trying to catch them on the change. Nick Shook floats a backhand pass through for charging Cade Cox. He'll poke it to the net, swatted out of midair, and a big save by Peltier. The second try also denied, but NC State a couple of good chances there as Cox sends a man into the wall. And we got a penalty coming up on Cade Cox as he lined up Tucker Healy. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure if this is going to be a charging call or what. That was a good hard hit. They're going to call boarding.
Yeah, from my vantage point, it looked like he hit him up high too on the replay. That was close to being in the head or neck area. We've seen a couple of those this year, Chris. I don't know about that one, but giving them 2 minutes there.
The thing that puzzles me about that is the boarding call. I would have thought charging maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think the hit was extreme enough to warrant a major penalty. I think the 2 minutes was perfectly fine. To me, it looked like a good hard hit and just a little bit of a height differential there between the players. Quick shot off the draw to start the power play, and Noonan didn't miss by much. NC State looking to kill their first penalty of the game. Shot from the point, handled by Daniel. Rebound loose on the near side. Poked at the net by Noonan. Rebound comes loose, and he's got it again. Fired at the net. Bodied down by Daniel once more. NC State netminder busy here early in the power play. Good hit there by Thronson to knock his man off the puck in the far corner. Clearance from Emery Oliver is blocked down though. Pass across for Noonan again. He'll walk around with it. Looks over to the far corner. A little bit too hard of a pass for Healy, and now the centering feed is stolen away, and NC State with a 2-on-1 shorthanded. It's Bressingham with Oliver. Over to Bressingham, and the pass sent away by Brian Teskey, and now Maryland has numbers. Here's McEnany, steps to the high slot. Back to Healy, it's in his skates, and NC State clears it out of danger for the moment. Very eventful power play so far. We're only halfway through it. Now Noonan turns it over. NC State will clear and slow things down.
What a play by Brian Teskey on the power play, having to play a little defense. Bressingham was lining it up for the one-timer, which is something that Maryland's trying to do with Noonan. He'll stay out there. He looks like he's going to have a full power play shift. He's like Alex Ovechkin. He's waiting for the one-timer, and he had a chance before, but it just took a bounce, and he couldn't keep it on his stick.
Sandell in the far corner. Back to the high slot. Shot up into the chest protector of Daniel, who squeezed the rebound and get another face-off with 29 seconds left on the man advantage for the Terrapins.
Yeah, Noonan's going to come out right now for Maryland. So the big question for NC State, the second line of the power play, they don't have their top goal scorer out there right now, nor their assist leader. So you got 29 seconds to kill. A big face-off win would do wonders for them right now.
Renner to take the draw for NC State. Gets tangled up there with Matt Kravitsky, and the shot from the high slot is blocked by NC State's penalty kill. They'll advance it. Brenner comes into the zone. Looks like Arini might have been offside, though, and the face-off will come out to the neutral zone. A good job by NC State there to defend after losing that face-off.
Yeah, really, the power play is the whole 20 seconds left. A lot could still happen in 20 seconds, but Maryland had a lot of good scoring chances. They just couldn't get the puck to the stick. The puck was in the crease a lot of times. Daniel couldn't really see the puck, but give credit to NC State where it's due. Sometimes you get more bodies in front. You get Maryland off their line a little bit when they go to the puck, and that can mess them up and not let them get their stick to the puck to knock it in.
Kravitsky down that far left wing. He'll turn with it in the corner, sends it back to the blue line for Sandell. They'll play catch. Sandell again receives the pass from Duchesne. Thrown down low, off a skate, puck up, pops loose, and NC State has killed off the penalty. Got to get it out of the zone. Oh, a big point-blank save from Eric Daniel. Now NC State can turn it back the other way. Nick Shook has some speed. He'll carry it into the near corner, has it poked off his stick, and Maryland will look to break it out. Duchesne able to find Kravitsky. He'll lug it across the red line. Going 1-on-2 against the NC State defense. He'll throw one on goal. Daniel bodies it down, and NC State keeps it moving. Kaufman powers across the blue line. Lays it off there. Shot from Gouveia doesn't get through. Nick Shook picks up the loose puck. He'll hand it off for Gouveia. Lifts a pass across for McConaughey. He keeps it in with a skate, but can't maintain possession. Now Maryland in transition. Pass behind Joyce means NC State will get it back on the turnover. Just over 6 minutes left in this first period. It's been a wild first period. Here comes Gouveia down that right side, looking to the middle, and it's chipped over the stick of Nick Shook. NC State almost had a great chance there. McConaughey throws one towards the net. That one hits his stick on the way in. Maryland looking to clear. At the blue line, Kaufman holds it in. Has some help from Nick Shook. It's holding Kaufman again. Drags it to the middle, looking for a teammate. Loses it in the low slot. It back out to McConaughey, who takes the shot, and it pinballed through traffic and wide. NC State still in control. McConaughey again. They'll throw another one at the net that just missed that far post. It looks like the net is just off its moorings on that far side, but play will carry on. Kaufman cycling with it. His pass rejected, but he gets it right back. Left for Gouveia, who lifts it up to McConaughey at the blue line, having trouble maintaining possession. There to help is Bressingham. Down for Gouveia. He'll fire away, and this time it'll be held on to by Peltier, but NC State continuing to get the relentless pressure.
And they are, and it's all with that forecheck. NC State is playing their brand of hockey. And to go back a little bit to Chase Wilson's chance right in front of the net where Eric Daniel makes a point-blank save. I mean, that's what assistant coach Eric Miro for the Ice Pack talked to us. That was one of their things. They got to play with speed. You saw Nick Shook break out of that and kind of just get a really good chance down the other end.
The pestering Bressingham, who knocks the puck loose and prevents the opportunity. NC State back the other way, and Robinson couldn't bring the puck with him. He's offsides, and we'll restart neutral ice.
What a play by Drew Bressingham. He's undersized going back on that back check, but he does the right thing. He uses his stick for a stick check, a stick lift, and he's able to win that defensive battle. Really great play by pressing him. Otherwise, Daniel's going to have to make really a one-on-one save.
Good physical win there by Avery Oliver off the draw. NC State fires it into the near corner. Robinson in on the forecheck. He's going to give some problems here to Brian Teskey. Puck pops loose. It's Thronson throwing it at the net. That one hit a leg on the way in. Rebound loose over on the far side. Battle there. Bressingham wins it. He finds Robinson down low. Gliding behind the net with it, Robinson. He'll be knocked down from behind on a good hard shove, and now Maryland can clear it up and out. I'd say it's a telltale sign when the Terrapins don't want to do anything but chip it out and get a line change.
No, they don't. They got their first line out there right now offensively, so they've got to get this puck back.
Defenseman Labrizzi with a one-man break and throws it at the net. Juicy rebound, nobody there. That was the perfect play from Labrizzi, and NC State didn't have anyone to finish the rebound. Loose in the high slot, Harmon has it caught in the skates. Terrapins come away with it, cleared by Tomaszewski to neutral ice. NC State steals it away though. And now we've got a whistle, looks like offsides is the call. Tomaszewski, the guilty party, and the face-off will be on top of the NC State blue line.
Well, Maryland, I think, really needs to win this face-off right here. You got that first line out there. You haven't had a shot on goal in a long time since it went through the crease. Chase Wilson's chance right in front. You've got to sustain zone time. They get part one of it done. Now part two, sustain zone time, and they try that with a dump.
Eric Daniel will set it there behind the net. Pestering the NC State defense is Matt Kravitsky. Bouncing puck, hops past the Maryland defense. NC State moving in quickly. McEnany with the shot, and it's off the stick of Alex Sandell and out Nick. How many times have we seen Maryland block shots here tonight? The shot totals on goal are 11-8 in favor of NC State. The shot attempts, though, NC State's got to be upwards of 30 at this point.
They do, and it's kind of going back to last week with Texas A&M. The only difference is Maryland is just in front of every single player. They're not collapsing in on the net like Texas A&M did.
McEnany finds it in the skates, fires a shot on goal, and it's blockered away by Peltier. NC State maintaining pressure once again. Drake slides it over to Newnham on that far left wing. He's going to try and walk through Cade Cox, who takes the body nicely and then draws a penalty. Newnham frustrated. Well, it looks like they might be taking them both. Newnham definitely threw a punch, it looked like, at least at Cade Cox. And so it'll be 4-on-4. And Cox can't believe he's going. He got called for interference, which is an interesting call when he's playing the player who has the puck. Oh, wow, they're not going to call Newnham.
Wow.
He took a clear swing at Cox, and the only penalty here is going to go against Cade Cox for interference on the player in possession of the puck. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, and I thought it was a clean play by Cox as well. Both players got tangled up, but Newnham kind of threw a little open hand punch at Cox's face. The frustration there for Cox. He is not happy. I mean, I don't agree with the call at all. If you're going to send Cox, you got to send Newnham too. And the ref was right there to see what Newnham had did. He threw a little open hand punch. He was giving words to Cade Cox. I'm surprised he's staying out right now. Kind of near cut. Coach Tim Healy for the Ice Pack up here. He is just up in arms about that call. But a big power play for Maryland, down a goal. The question is, can they capitalize on it? The last power play had some good looks, but NC State did a fantastic job at kind of limiting those chances early on and not letting them get shots on goal.
Well, if you're NC State here, you got to harness that anger, and you got to understand the frustration of Cox. That's 2 penalties on him now that haven't made sense to him. The boarding penalty was not from behind. It did not look like that to us, at least. And then he gets called for interference, bodying up the man who had the puck. And he took him a little bit after the puck was gone, but it was a natural hockey play. It didn't seem excessive to me. But Maryland with another 2-minute power play and a chance to tie the game. Just over 3 minutes left in the first. Newnham down low, gets it back from Healy. Those are the 2 most dangerous names that you're going to hear from Maryland on the offensive end. NC State sweeps it all the way out around the boards, and it makes its way all the way back to Henri Peltier.
Well, if you're NC State, you're happy with that first chance that Maryland has, but now they're breaking out from their own end. It looks like it's going to be a setup play. They've got Newnham streaking in the middle. You've got to keep someone on him at all times.
He's going to weave through. Nice job by James to pickpocket him, but NC State can't clear. Newnham floats it across the middle, intercepted by Herman. He'll look for Arini, who picks it up out of midair. Can't maintain possession as Newnham is back to take it. But a good job by NC State to kill some time. Just over a minute left on the man advantage for the Terrapins. Near side now, Teskey. They'll walk it into the zone. Looking for some help behind him. It's not there, so he sends it deep. James shovels it up the wall, but not out. There to block it down is Trevor Drake. They'll look to the middle. That pass disrupted. NC State gains control, and it's cleared all the way down by Alex James. And NC State will change up the penalty killing units.
Final 40 seconds coming up from Maryland. Fantastic job on the penalty kill for NC State. They've harnessed that energy from that call. The question is, can they keep it going the last 35 seconds of this power play?
Dumped in. Ricky Frosch first there for the Ice Pack. He'll turn around and clear it right back down the rink. 25 seconds left on the man advantage as Peltier sets it up for Biganowski. Biganowski gaining speed. Gets around Oliver. Now he'll lug it past Frosch and stop behind the net. Work back up the wall. Now at the top of the umbrella, Sandell throws it towards the net, didn't get through, and a bouncing puck will get out into neutral ice, and that should kill off the rest of the penalty on Cade Koch. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey.
A really big kill there for NC State. Really no chances for Maryland. I don't even think they garnered a shot on goal, even a shot after the first 30 seconds of it. Really good job by NC State. Another great penalty kill for them. They've been a good penalty kill team this season. Coming up in the final minute, we'll see if they can get another chance here.
Hoffman trying to find help in the middle. That's stolen away and cleared by the Terrapins. NC State will regroup in their own end. Thronson for Cowan. Left for Kaufman, back to Thronson. He's got space right through the middle of the ice. He'll hand it off at the blue line for Shook. Sent down low for Thronson to pick up again. He'll drop it off there. Shook back to Thronson once again. Now Labreezy takes the shot. That hit his skate on the way in. Maryland sends it to neutral ice, and NC State will reset there. Nick Shook lifts it in, bouncing puck, blockered down by the goaltender Peltier. And Maryland will look to clear again. Newnham under some pressure from Govea. Elevates a pass to the middle. Healy leaves it off there where Sandell can send it deep. 13 seconds left in the period now. NC State, time for one last push if they want to. Labreezy, though, will wind out the clock behind the NC State net. So after giving up a goal less than a minute in, NC State gets two straight, and they've got a 2-1 lead headed into period number 2. But Nick, I think NC State did a great job. We talked about how they did on the penalty kill. Didn't score on the power play, but generated the scoring chance that led to the goal that way. And so you really can't, if you're NC State, can't complain too much about how that first went.
No, the only thing I think you can complain about is the first 52 seconds, giving up the goal to Maryland just like that. But after that, I mean, it was all NC State. And I think the big key that first period was special teams, because NC State had 2 big penalty kills. Maryland's first power play looked aggressive, and it looked like it had a chance to be successful, but it wasn't. And the Ice Packs power play generated a goal right as it ended.
So a 2-1 advantage for NC State after 20 minutes. We'll be back in the first intermission.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
Hey there, doing some yard work? Installing a new fence, flowers, or shrubs? Stop! Don't dig just yet! You have buried gas, electric, and even internet lines down there. Before you pick up a shovel, pick up a phone or go online and contact 811. 811 is a free service. Yes, free! 811 is the first step to having those buried utilities marked. 811 keeps you safe, protects the lines, and it's the law. This safety message brought to you by North Carolina 811.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
you'll see
a warrior mom,
an endurance athlete,
someone with a lot of fight.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson's Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit is unshakable. Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
From the top of D.H. Hill Library.
Don Diablo. Oh yeah, this is actually like in my studio.
WKNC HD3 Raleigh.
Hey, what's up and what's going on, folks? This is Kid Kinetic, your boy up here at the top of the hour. And guess what I got? A treat that's too sweet to beat.
This is Wolf Bites Radio.
Oh, that's really sweet.
NC State.
Well, it was Maryland starting the scoring, but NC State with 2 unanswered goals leads 2-1 after 20 minutes. Chris Lehman, Nick Perazzi back with you at the first intermission here at Invisalign Arena. And Nick, a lot going on that period, but if you're NC State, a little bit of a slow start, but you bounce back.
Yeah, and it's really been the story the past couple of games for NC State. It's been the slow start, not getting that first goal. But it seems like this season they've kind of done better when that happens sometimes, where they don't have the first goal. It allows them to have that adversity, which we've seen at home a lot this year from this Ice Pack team. And that's really been the story of this first period. Able to answer back and get 2 goals of their own and kind of shut down that first line for Maryland a good bit.
Yeah, and we talked about special teams plenty. NC State not getting credit for a power play goal. It came 3 seconds after the man advantage ended, but you can kind of call it a power play goal, and then 2 really successful kills as well.
Yeah, 2 kills, and I think that second one was just harnessing that energy of that call on Cade Cox. I mean, we talked about it before we came back on air. We don't really get the call on Cox that much since the puck was in possession by Noonan, and Noonan took a swing at Cox. But rest aside, NC State played their brand of hockey. They said, puck don't lie, we're going to kill this off, and they certainly did. Maryland didn't have a shot on goal that entire power play. I think that was a big story going into this, was Maryland's not a team that takes a lot of penalties. NC State is trying to fix that right now by having 2 really good dominant penalty kills, other than that first minute of the first one, has really helped NC State tonight.
Yeah, well, we do have one of the goal scorers waiting to talk to us on the other side. Nick Shook will talk with our Delaney Kearns when we come back.
Hey there, doing some yard work? Installing a new fence, flowers, or shrubs? Stop! Don't dig just yet! You have buried gas, electric, and even internet lines down there. Before you pick up a shovel, pick up a phone or go online and contact 811. 811 is a free service. Yes, free! 811 is the first step to having those buried utilities marked. 811 keeps you safe, protects the lines, and it's the law. This safety message brought to you by North Carolina 811.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
It's hard to always know what's going on with your kids. The Talk They Hear You mobile app and Screen for Success tool can help. The mobile app shows you how to turn everyday situations into opportunities to talk with your kids about alcohol and other drugs. Screen for Success helps you find out if your child needs more support by asking about their health, wellness, and well-being. Keep your kids safe and healthy. Download the free Talk They Hear You mobile app and start using Screen for Success today.
Hi, I'm Delaney Kearns here with goal scorer Nick Shook. Nick, you had a great goal early in the first. Can you kind of tell me what you saw leading up to that?
Yeah, it's the face-off play we've been running past couple of games, and it just somehow worked out. I shot it, and it was kind of a muffin, but it tipped off a couple of sticks and went in, so kind of lucky.
Nick, being a freshman, what has it been like for you to kind of come on this team and be as successful as you have been?
It's been great. The boys have helped me a lot. A lot of the upperclassmen, just getting me through it, helping me with all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Nick, I've got to ask, are you excited to step on the ice this Monday in PNC for the first time, your first time?
Yeah, oh, dude, I'm pumped. I saw there's going to be a ton of fans. We've been doing a lot of promotion, so I'm really excited.
All right, thanks. Well, I look forward to seeing you play in the second period. We'll be right back in a minute with more hockey.
From the top of D.H. Hill Library,
Don Diablo. Oh yeah, this is actually in my studio.
WKNC HD3 Raleigh.
Hey, what's up and what's going on, folks? It's Kid Kinetic, your boy, up here at the top of the hour. And guess what I got? A treat that's too sweet to beat.
This is Wolf Bites Radio.
Oh, that's really sweet.
NC State. Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, ice pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all ice pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
It's time to talk about men's mental health.
80% of suicides are done by men.
Men are 3 times less likely to ask for help if they are struggling.
1 man every minute
commits suicide.
Men are more likely to suffer from substance abuse disorders. Alcohol kills 6 times more men than women.
Men are 3 times less likely to ask for help if they are struggling.
We've never needed each other more
than we do right now.
It's okay to not be okay.
It's okay to talk about how you feel.
Being silent doesn't mean you're being strong.
This is a movement for men's health.
The silence needs to be broken.
Men need support too.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma ends here.
The stigma ends here.
Chris Lehman and Nick Perazzi back with you here at the first intermission. NC State with a 2-1 lead over Maryland at the moment. Nick, pretty solid period as we talked about for NC State. I want to kind of revisit some of the keys to the game that we talked about before this one started. One of them that I think is incredibly important that was very, very evident was that prolific forecheck for NC State in the first period. They did not allow Maryland out of their zone much at all, and when they did, it wasn't easy. And I remember remarking at one point that all Maryland really wanted to do for a good stretch of that first period was just chip it out, get the tired bodies off the ice, and defend again. And that, I think, is a huge testament to the way NC State was able to stifle them at their own blue line.
Yeah, and I've been saying it throughout the game, the grittiness. Once it gets into the neutral zone, NC State's doing a really good job. We saw Drew Bressingham prevent a scoring chance for Maryland with a little stick lift and stick action. We've seen them kind of play plays on the back check from behind. The defensemen are making plays from the front to keep that puck in. And what that does, it puts pressure on the defense. And going into the second period, I think the big story, we've said it a lot this year, is that long line change. And we always say it because of NC State's great forecheck. And it's true. We can say it every game because NC State does a fantastic job at forechecking. It's going to make it hard for Maryland to get those line checks, or excuse me, line changes, and it's going to put more pressure on their goaltending.
Yeah, and speaking of goaltending, that's the next place I want to turn. We talked about getting traffic in front, taking away the eyes of the netminder and Henri Pelletier. NC State did a great job of that in the first period. They only scored 2 goals on 30-plus shots a couple weeks ago against Pelletier. They've got 2 goals in 20 minutes on just 12 shots tonight.
Yeah, and I think it's just the energy of the arena right now. The game 2 weeks ago was played neutral site in Virginia, and assuming there were more Maryland fans there since it was pretty close to the D.C. area. But going into tonight, a big crowd on hand here at Invisalign Arena. NC State harvesting some of that energy, I think, playing very fast and playing to their strengths. They're also not in a little bit of a drought right now scoring-wise, and when they went to Virginia, they kind of were just a little off, it seemed like. But they kind of fixed things up. They tuned things going into the last weekend. It seems like it's worked well, and I think that's one of the big reasons why they've looked so good tonight.
Yeah, it was a very good 20 minutes for NC State. We'll talk about how they can make it a good second 20 minutes on the other side. NC State 2-1 lead over Maryland at the first intermission.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
Life is for learning, from baby steps to big ideas. We plan, try, fail, and do better next time. Each day is a new experiment, a fresh chance to seek answers, connection, purpose. The mind is not a vessel to be filled. It's rocket fuel. And when you start at NC State University, you can't be stopped. NC State. Think and do.
Hey there, doing some yard work? Installing a new fence, flowers, or shrubs? Stop! Don't dig just yet! You have buried gas, electric, and even internet lines down there. Before you pick up a shovel, pick up a phone or go online and contact 811. 811 is a free service. Yes, free! 811 is the first step to having those buried utilities marked. 811 keeps you safe, protects the lines, and it's the law. This safety message brought to you by North Carolina 811.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, ice pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all ice pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Closing in on the start of the second period here at Invisalign Arena, Chris Lehman and Nick Prozzi back with you, a 2-1 lead for NC State. Nick, we talked a lot about how NC State did a really good job forechecking, getting traffic in front, and really just doing everything they wanted to do in this game in the first period. But Maryland's got some adjustments to make, and they certainly, a couple weeks ago had NC State figured out, at least to some extent, and enough to win the game. What do they need to change going into the second period?
Well, when we talked to head coach Joe Carter of the Terrapins before the game, he mentioned he's going to let Maryland play their style of hockey the first period, and any adjustments that need to be made will be made after the first period. So coming into this period, they're going to make adjustments down on the scoreboard, and I think you just got to get that first line involved and try to get something out of that forecheck NC State's bringing you. They've got to find a way to break out because that first line is so lethal. And we've seen it a couple times, Max Noonan down the ice with some beautiful dekes and daggles to get in front of the net. However, he's not getting a clean shot off because NC State is still there because he doesn't have any other bodies with him just because of that forecheck of NC State making you stay back. So I think that's going to be a big task for Maryland going into this next period. And I think they can do it, and if they do, watch out for that first line.
And I think one thing you also need to look out for is penalties. If you're NC State, obviously you got to keep an eye on it. We've seen some penalties we weren't totally sure about. There's certainly in both of those sequences there were penalties to be called. It was a little bit confusing, but if you're NC State, you've taken a couple of penalties, you've given them a couple of chances, and we've seen Tucker Healy can finish. Obviously, we haven't seen it tonight, but we know Max Noonan can finish. He's got 17 goals in 14 games. He's an incredible finisher. So if you're NC State, discipline, I think, is going to be really important, especially as you talked about, you alluded to already in this intermission, the period of the long change. That can be a real killer if you're trying to kill off a penalty.
Yeah, and another big reason for that is also on that first line, Trevor Drake, who has 16 assists this year for Maryland. He's a big setup guy for Max Noonan. And I think once Maryland gets on that power play game, you saw it the first time. NC State did a great job defending it the second time, but he's kind of like Alexander Ovechkin a little bit. If you ever watch him play in the power play, he kind of lingers on one side of the ice. You forget about him. The puck goes to that side, and he hammers home a one-timer for the goal. And he's kind of doing that too, Max Noonan. He stays stays on the right side of the ice. So keep an eye on that. If NC State takes a penalty, they've got to keep it clean tonight, or else Max Newnham's going to make them pay eventually, I think.
I think at the same time, you talk about making sure you're staying disciplined. The physicality of NC State in that first period was notable, and that is a good thing if you're an Ice Pack fan. I think the physicality was good. For the most part, NC State outsizes this Maryland team outside of Newnham, who's pretty big body, and he can move too, which is part of the reason he's so dangerous. But if you're NC State, I think that physicality and taking advantage of your size is going to be a key as well.
Yeah, and it is. We've seen a lot of big hits tonight already from NC State. So I think going into the second period, he's got to keep it up. But I think you got to tone it back just a tad, because the way the refs are calling this game, they're not really letting anything slide. I think you got to keep that in mind when you go to make a hit or something like that, because it could come back to bite you, and it could set up Newnham and the Terps with a great chance on offense.
They're about ready to unleash the boys again for the second period, so we'll step aside. When we come back, puck drop for period number 2, NC State with a 2-1 lead.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go, from ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make, with bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
From the top of D.H. Hill Library.
Don Diablo. Oh yeah, this is actually like in my studio.
WKNC HD3 Raleigh.
Hey, what's up and what's going on, folks? It's Kid Kinetic, your boy, up here at the top of the hour. And guess what I got? A treat that's too sweet to beat.
This is Wolf Bites Radio.
Oh, that's really sweet.
NC State. Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
I'm with 2018 lacrosse national champion Christian Gaudy for the FDA's Don't Get Burned Sunscreen Challenge.
Bring it, Daryl.
She's tough, but I won't get burned today. I'm using a broad spectrum sunscreen.
The FDA recommends broad spectrum sunscreens with an SPF of 15 or higher with other sun protection measures to reduce the risk of sunburn and skin cancer.
You smoked me, Kristen.
That's because I use sunscreen, so I wouldn't get burned by you and the sun.
Broad spectrum sunscreen. It's a winning play every time.
We are back and just about set to start period number 2 between the NC State Ice Pack and the Maryland Terrapins. 2-1 lead for NC State. Chris Lehman and Nick Bronzy back with you. These two teams will swap ends and do it all again, but NC State really doesn't need to change all too much.
No, they don't, and I think if they're able to keep that forecheck like they did that first period, it's going to work even better just because of the long line changes. We saw a couple times Maryland had trouble making their line changes, so going into this period, the adjustments they made at the intermission is going to be very key.
NC State going to go with the line of Herman, Brenner, and Arini, and the defensive pairing of Thronson and Labrizzi. On the other side for Maryland, it's going to be Tucker Healy out there with Patrick Biganowski, as well as Travis Duchesne on the back end. It's Alex Sandell and Andre Serra. NC State will move left to right here in the second period. Herman set to square off with Healy on the opening draw. Still loose. Maryland comes away with it. They'll go on the attack immediately. Healy centering pass hits a skate. NC State takes it right back. Brenner with speed. He's going to take on Sandell down that left wing and force it deep. Right there to knock him down. Behind the net, is Andre Serra, but NC State, at least for the moment, maintaining pressure in the offensive zone. Now Maryland will lift it up and out. It slides down in on Daniel. Quick slap pass off the wall for Herman. Go backhanded forward, some speed now for Labrizzi. Crosses over around Sandell. Good stick from the Maryland defenseman to knock it loose. And they'll battle for it in the corner. Brenner bodying up his man. Loose puck back to the blue line. Thronson shot deflected wide. NC State back on the attack as Arini sweeps it behind the net. Collected there by Tucker Healy of Maryland.
He'll turn it back into the near corner. Chasing it down is Sarah. Unable to clear. NC State with a quick chance, and Arini throws it off the pad of Peltier. Good chance there for the Ice Pack, a little over a minute in. Now both teams are going to take this opportunity to make some changes. Ricky Frosch, looks like there might be a little extra water out there. Puck got caught up in a puddle. NC State will have to regroup. Breakout pass, deflected, loose in the slot, and it'll pinball over to the near side. Chance there for Maryland, as they're going to take back over and reset at their own blue line. Sean Amon dispossessed. Maryland will regroup again. To the middle, Chase Wilson. Going to chip and chase on Ricky Frosch, who closes him off with some help from Kate Cox, but it's going to be Wilson first to it. Turning with it in that far corner, looking for some help in the middle. They score! In tight finish, it's Blake Wanner, who finishes it off, and Maryland, with an early strike in the second, tied the game.
Well, the adjustments were made at the intermission, and certainly they were there. How about Maryland getting a lot of offensive zone time, limiting NC State? Little pass from behind the net to get Blake Wanner a great chance in front. A little backhand pass. He's just sitting there. Cox has to cheat down a little bit. He takes his eyes off him for a second, and it's too late. Just a quick one-timer in front. And Maryland quickly ties the game. Another goal early in the period for them. The question is, can they find another one this period?
Puck slides down into the Maryland end. Tomaszewski first to it for the Terrapins. Pickpocketed by Nick Shook. Will be swept back deep by Kaufman. This is NC State's top line here. Near side blue line. Bouncing puck gets past Cade McConaughey. He'll reset in the neutral zone. Bouncing puck at the blue line. Settled down by Shook, but he's unable to corral. And now Maryland will turn back the other way. Noonan. Bodied up there by McConaughey. Loose puck collected by Cowan. He'll loop it back into the Maryland end. Tomaszewski. Cross ice for Drake. He'll zip one into the near corner. Off the wall, it's taken by McConaughey. Trying to clear it up the wall. Further along by Nick Shook. He finds Govea. Back into the middle for Kaufman. Along for Cowan. Now to Govea, one-timer. Big pad save made there by Peltier. Puck caught up in the skates of Noonan. He's unable to find it. NC State back in control. Thrown deep by McConaughey. NC State trying to make some changes while they've got it deep. Here's McEnany. Backhands it down into the corner. NC State is trying to work it loose. Harmon there as well. He'll come away with the puck from behind the net. Looking back up top, skate to stick Labreezy. Slaps it over to the near wall for McEnany. He'll lose control, and now Noonan chips it out. Maryland trying to get a change here. NC State looked like they were going to try and work quickly and catch him on the change, but had some trouble moving it forward. Now McEnany, backhand pass to the middle, intercepted. Loose puck, forked along there by NC State's Harmon. But it'll be the red jerseys back in control. Lifted all the way back down by Teskey. NC State sends it right back the other way. Filtered along for Scott Daniel. Backhand pass out in front. Nobody gets a stick to it. Bronson jabs it into the middle, and now Maryland clears it all the way down. This will be icing and an offensive zone faceoff coming up for NC State. But as you mentioned, Nick, Maryland kind of controlled the pace of play for the first couple of minutes. NC State seems to be tipping the tables back in their favor now.
They are. They're keeping the offensive zone time. The difference between right now and the first period is that Maryland's taking away the shooting lanes. There's not many good shooting opportunities for the Ice Pack right now. And it's a really good job by the Terps by kind of taking those shooting lanes away. We're seeing a lot of passes, and it allows Maryland to be a little more aggressive as well and able to knock the puck out, send it down. They have an icing right here, which could maybe bite them because of the long change, but losing that faceoff doesn't help.
NC State with a chance here. Pass out in front. Can't find a stick. NC State throws it right back deep. In the near corner, McEnany has his pass deflected out of the zone. Brenner will regroup with it. Across for Frosch. Forward for Herman. He's going to step around his man into the far corner. They score! I don't know if it hit Arini or the defenseman, but it deflects past Peltier, and NC State is back out in front.
first to 20 points on the year will be Zach Herman. Doesn't matter if he scored the goal or got the assist. They're going to give him the goal, I believe. And it looked like he was just throwing it in front of the net for Arini, but Arini never got there. And I think that's why it kind of took Peltier off his line. He was looking for Arini. He was ready for him to make a deflection into the net. And because of that, it allowed the weak side of him, that stick side, to be open. And allowed Herman just to throw it on in. Goal number 8 on the year for Herman. And the Pack answer back right away again.
NC State going to go back on the attack again. Deflected in on Peltier, and well, he almost let that rebound get loose. Instead, it'll be an offensive zone draw for the Ice Pack here.
Well, this is not what you want if you're Maryland, and because of that goal, like I've mentioned right before the faceoff happened, is the long line change, and you cannot afford to have another long defensive zone time if you're Maryland again.
NC State wins the draw again. Kane Cox's shot hit a body on the way through. Emery Oliver first to it in that near corner. They'll work it back up the wall. Cox holds the zone. Bressingham in there to help out on the scrum. It pops loose again with Kane Cox. They'll chip it deep behind the net. Zach Robinson in on the forecheck. Maryland able to handle the pressure and clear it all the way down. This one looks like they touched it behind the red line, so it'll be icing anyhow. And NC State, another offensive zone draw. And this is where Maryland was struggling in the first period, trying to get the puck out and get the change. You can't float it quite as softly here in the second period because you need more time, and it's resulted in a couple early icings.
No, this is the same line that was out there for the face-off right after the goal. So again, they haven't won a lot of face-off. They lose another one there. It's going to become a bigger and bigger story as the period goes on.
Another shot right into the gut of Peltier. He'll hold on and give his team a little bit of relief as Maryland can change all 5 tired sets of legs. 14:49 left in the second period. 2 teams have traded goals here early on in the second, and it's still a 3-2 lead for NC State. Another offensive zone win for NC State off the faceoff. Shot from McConaughey. Floats up over top. Might have hit the top of the net, and it deflects in where Peltier can cover it up. That was a chaotic sequence right around the net, and NC State almost a little bit of luck there. Found the back of the net.
A lot of puck luck. And we've seen a lot of times they throw it on the net, and they get puck luck like that sometimes. It was just one of those wacky plays. They had 2 chances at it, and Peltier just stayed home. Didn't look the best, but he was able to make the save.
NC State didn't win the draw, but they are able to hold the zone. Hung around the wall. The Alex James holding it along the boards on the far side. Bressingham over in reinforcement, unable to keep it in. Now NC State retreats. McConaughey across for Robinson. Quick bumper pass to Bressingham. Beautiful passing play. Big save, Peltier, and the rebound is left there. Emery Oliver couldn't get the second try away, but a great chance for NC State. Now Robinson fires away, and that one hit the shoulder of Peltier and deflected out of play, but another great sequence there for the Ice Pack.
Yeah, and that's a really big save by Peltier, able to stretch back to the stick side and make a beautiful save. And I think when you make a big save like that as a goalie, especially after you give one up, and especially after that little wacky play, it didn't go in, you kind of feel down about yourself. Making that play could get some mojo back into him, make him start playing better, and get him in a good rhythm as we have 14 left here in the period.
And again, NC State will hold the zone off the draw. Nick Shook bodied up. He'll get back to the puck, though. Tried to sweep it in front. That pass denied. Shook regroups. Backhand pass, trying to find Kaufman. It was off the mark. And now Max Noonan looking rink wide for Trevor Drake. Maryland unable to connect and neutralize. NC State back in possession. Shook leaves it off for Labrizzi. Zipped across for Thronson. Immediately back for Kaufman. He's unable to hold on to it. NC State resets again. Labrizzi back in control. Dropped off for Thronson. Slid forward. Govea chips it along. Kaufman in with speed. Tried to chip it up over the shoulder on the blocker side, and Peltier stood tall and made the save.
I think a story into this game right now, we've seen the puck kind of take a lot of bounces. You mentioned it before, Chris. It seems like the ice isn't completely frozen, maybe little puddles out there. And it was a pretty warm day today. We had around 70 degrees. It was a very humid day. So maybe that's what's causing kind of these issues with the weird bounces of the puck and the skaters that are just keep slipping.
Yeah, And those puddles generally kind of dry up early on in the period, and it might have just been a little extra coming out of the Zamboni, but it is a little bit abnormally warm in North Carolina for this time of the year, which can affect the puck a little bit. Govea off-angle shot, rang it off the pipe. Almost beat Peltier short side. Maryland, again, just trying to alleviate the pressure. Bronson over to Govea as NC State looks to attack again. Labrizzi back behind the net, moves it forward for Govea. Slid to the middle, Nick Shook bodied off the puck. Govea there to help out. He'll find his teammate again. Shook over to Frosch, one-timer. Hit a skate on the way through, and Maryland clears it off the wall. Tucker Healy has space, he's gonna skate it out. Tries to send it deep as he gains the red line, but he hit Ricky Frost with it. Maryland reinforcements hold the zone. High slot shot, tangled up there by McEnany. And NC State in control of the loose puck. A good chance there for Sandell pinching in. Now Kaufman off the glass, knocked down by the outstretched glove of Sarah. He'll send it in, and Maryland can get a much-needed change. Over on that far wall, Kaufman chips it around his man, finds Shook, takes the shot, and he hits the defenseman with the Tomaszewski, a little bit shaken up after blocking that one, but Maryland has a chance to advance it. Thrown right in on Daniel was Lachlan Joyce, trying to generate a rebound, and Daniel was ready for it.
I want to go back to the last scoring chance for Maryland. Just 2 trips into the offensive zone ago. Alex Sandell had a great opportunity. If the puck gets to his stick, he's got a good one-timer on the stick, the glove side of Eric Daniel, but Thomas McEnany makes a fantastic play to keep it off of his stick and have it go behind the net.
Was the first shot of the period for Maryland. NC State will ice the puck, but just put that in perspective, NC State with 10 shots, so the unofficial count for the period is NC State 10, Maryland 1 in the shot category.
Yeah, and they had that goal to start the period as well, and so I believe it is 2. I might be wrong, but I mean, Maryland just hadn't had a lot of time back in the offensive end. It's kind of like that first period. They had a good success right as the period opened, but the speed of NC State just kind of took away with it.
NC State advances off the defensive zone win. Centering pass finds Cade Cox looking down low. Just missed Daniel. He'll throw it out in front. I tell you, Peltier has had to be ready for some unexpected deflections here in this second period. That's the 3rd time there's a puck that's hit his own man and ended up right in on him.
Yeah, and I think a big reason for that is the extended amount of zone time offensively NC State has. It's had Peltier having to be on his toes the entire time, watch the puck the entire time, stay in the play, and get ready for a shot at all times. So sometimes when the puck goes behind the net, you kind of take a break, and that might be a scoring opportunity to throw it on net.
They get tied up off the draw. Maryland will control. And there's a whistle. And I think they whistled a hand pass here.
Called a hand pass.
But I'm not. There was a hand pass motion, but I'm not sure what exactly stopped the play there. Because Maryland was the team in possession of the puck. But either way, face off on top of the Maryland blue line. Terrapins win that one as well. And clear it into the NC State end. Cox looking forward for Brenner. He's able to deflect it back below the goal line of Maryland. Terrapins to break out again. Rink wide pass received on the backhand by Zach Keski. They'll send it around the wall. Daniel, NC State netminder, finds the captain Arini up the near side. He'll break it out for Brenner. Hand it off for Herman. NC State has some speed into the offensive zone. Herman's pass. An aerial pass through the middle was swatted into the corner. Terrapins back in control. Sandell looking to clear. Glove down nicely by Cox. He'll chip it back deep. First one to it near corner, Arini. Turnaround pass to the middle. Off a body, deflected back to the near side. Big hit from Brenner as NC State will send it right back in. Looks like there's a delayed offsides on NC State, and we're going to get a whistle. Brenner kept playing through the delayed offside, so it will go all the way down to the other end, but freshman laid a big hit there as well.
Yeah, that was Zach Keski who took the hit. He was on the receiving end of that blow, but he did a good job getting back up, staying into play. A little slow to get back to the bench right now. Well, that was a big offsides for NC State. Maryland, like I mentioned before, they've got to get the face-off win. They just got to sustain zone time, and it all starts with an offensive zone face-off.
They won the face-off. Shot didn't get through, though. Another try. Daniel gets a piece of it, but can't hold on. And NC State will collect the loose puck. Zach Robinson saucers one across. He finds Bresingham. Slaps one on goal. Rebound loose in front. Robinson just missed that near side post, and Maryland can send it back the other way. On the near side, Biganowski was upended. NC State back in control. Bresingham. He'll take the shot from the right side hashes. That one's directed over to the far side by the pad of Peltier, and Maryland advances once again. Chipped in by Tomaszewski. First one to it is Robinson for NC State. Hacks it up the far wall. Thrown right back in from the blue line by Teske. And Maryland starting to get some sustained pressure here for the first time in a while. Now Cowan. McConaughey looking for that breakout pass. Goes back to his D partner. And Cowan with a stretch pass for Robinson to deflect in. NC State needs a change, and so they'll get one. Emery Oliver, good forecheck, steals the puck away, looks to the middle, and he hit the backhand of Kaufman, who couldn't quite hold on. A great chance there for NC State. Kaufman again, turning with it, trying to spin past Healy, and he finds a teammate in the middle. Govea's shot from the high slot, elevated over top. Nice job by Thronson to hold the zone over on the far side. He'll advance it down the wall, pickpocketed nicely by Travis Duchesne, and he'll clear it. NC State resets at their own blue line. Labrisi forward for Thronson. Left there for Govea. Chip pass through the middle, patted away there by Peltier. NC State momentarily had possession of that loose puck. Maryland steals it away, looking to stretch things out. They're going to ice the puck once again as Facciano was unable to collect that pass.
Well, that last sustained zone time for NC State all starts with Thomas Tomaszewski, the defenseman for the Terrapins, gets the puck in the corner and gets a little lazy with it. I think NC State subbed all 5, and the effort by NC State to get that puck back nearly led to another goal. Had a lot of great scoring chances, but that's something that Maryland, they kind of need to wake up is what I'm seeing right now. They're getting outpaced with the speed of NC State as well as the bodying. I think they got to wake up, and they need a jolt of energy to wake them up.
Long pass misses everybody. Thronson has it for NC State at the defense. He'll play catch with Labrisi. Thronson again, looking forward, finds McEnany at the red line. He'll carry it down that left wing. Looking to the middle, couldn't quite connect there with Spencer Harmon. And now Maryland elevates it out again. Ricky Frosch will chase it down under some pressure from Joyce. He's able to absorb that and carry it up the ice himself. Nice job by the NC State defenseman. Brings it in, finds McEnany. Centering pass. That's stolen away by Mohan, and NC State going in on the forecheck. Frosch holds the zone. Shot, big split save there from Peltier. Cox now at the blue line for the ice pack. Cross ice. He's able to find McEnany. Left for Frosch. His shot didn't get through. Maryland continuing to do a good job blocking shots as Tomaszewski lugs it through the neutral zone. Off for Noonan. He fires away. That wrister blocked by Daniel. He couldn't hold on to the rebound, and he'll scramble back to the post to collect it up and keep it out of the net. But a nice little sequence there from Maryland. And Noonan, who really hasn't had many chances, finally gets a shot away.
Yeah, he does. Really good chance by Tomaszewski in front as well to deflect it. Noonan will stay out on the faceoff. I think on the other end, Peltier, ever since that kind of wacky play where he had 2 bouncing pucks he had to save, he's kind of got in a groove. He's kind of in the zone now, making a lot of big saves, 2 or 3 of them to be exact.
Well, and the clearance ends up in the netting and out of play, so they'll redo the face-off in the NC State end.
The question will be, though, can Maryland win the face-off, and can they sustain some time? You've said it a lot today. You got that first line out there that really hasn't done much tonight. This is a really good opportunity for them, but the question is, can they win the face-off?
Kravitsky on the draw up against NC State's Zach Herman, who wins it very cleanly. And the ice pack will break it out. Herman up the middle. Slid over to the far side. Brenner. And NC State will be offsides. That was a nice little break in play. The problem was the puck stayed out of the zone as Brenner was coming in, and that left Herman offsides.
Yeah, I think Herman actually thought that pass off the boards wasn't going to be made, so he just skated on in, ready to make a one-time at the other end. Really good job by Maryland, though, to force that pass, because sometimes plays like that happen when the other skater just goes offsides.
Maryland controls off the draw. They'll lift it out to the red line. That's where NC State will regather, and it's pitchforked in there by Cade Cox. Forecheck on behind the net. Brenner with some pressure. Puck pops loose over on the far side of the net, and the Terrapins having some trouble regrouping now. Back behind the goal. Eventually it is collected by Biganowski, and he's unable to clear. Herman far corner. Pressured there by Amon. Maryland still cannot get it out of the zone. Arini down in the corner. Brenner back for the captain again. Backhand pass over to the far side. Shot coming from Frosch. That hit a body on the way in. Cade Cox up top again. He'll walk with it. Down that far left side. He decides to cycle behind the net with it. Wraps around. Takes a shot. Short side. Loose in front as it, I believe, hit the post. And NC State can't quite finish. Arini still with the puck. Backhands it out for Frosch. Down over to the corner for Brenner. Into the middle, intended for Arini. That pass intercepted and broken out to Newnham. Max Newnham, biggest producer on offense for Maryland, trying to create some offense, and he'll be dispossessed by Cade Cox. Pressure, though, from Maryland, able to hold his own for the moment. Newnham, high slot, walking with it, takes the shot. Big blocker save made by Daniel. Rebound collected in the corner by Warner. Pressure there from Ricky Frosch as he pins him to the wall. Frosch knocked down. Puck comes loose. NC State will be first to it on the near side. Trying to float it out was Cox, but Newnham in to hold his own. He'll be bodied up by the NC State defenseman, who knocks him down, and this will be the third penalty coming up on Cade Cox as we've got a delayed call coming. Peltier to the bench. Extra man out there for Maryland, trying to tie this one up as Frosch blocks the shot. And eventually NC State is able to get a touch, and it'll be a cross-checking penalty against Cade Cox.
Now the frustration of Cox, really, that penalty's kind of taken just because he's frustrated at Max Noonan, especially what happened in that first period. Third penalty of the game for the freshman. It's not a good night for Cade Cox right now in terms of staying out of the box. He's not too happy about it again, but that's one of those plays. You do a good job letting him in, but after just giving him a cross-check down on the ground to finish him off, it's just not the right play there. Now another good opportunity for Maryland.
It'll be forced to the near wall off the face-off. NC State pins it there, and now Bressingham clears it out. He's going to carry it down in. Around the defenseman, slides it on goal, and a sliding save made by Peltier. Another chance and a split save made. Still loose in front, and a diving Peltier. Didn't get a piece of it, but it hit the crossbar and went up over top. Golden opportunity after golden opportunity for NC State, and they just couldn't put it in the back of the net.
Well, I said it. Peltier kind of got in a rhythm once he made one big save. Once you make two or three, you're like, all right, I'm in a really good zone right now. And then after a save like that, it was fantastic stuff from Peltier. Bressingham tries to go 5-hole. He can't. He kicks it back out for Embry Oliver. Oh, what a fantastic chance for NC State shorthanded for Maryland. And Peltier, stand tall, keep the power play alive without letting up a shorty.
Dr. Healy pinned on the near side as Maryland looks to set up the power play. Drake has space as he turns to the middle. Sweeps it down low where it can be carried behind by Drake. Out in front, or Healy, pardon me. Out in front, that shot ended up wide, and now NC State will clear. Teskey first to it for the Terrapins about halfway through the power play. 3:50 left in the second period, and NC State with a 3-2 lead. Newnham, plenty of space to carry it in. Watched by Thronson. He'll fire it off the iron as he tried to go short side on Daniel. Maryland sets up the power play. Another try from an off angle by Newnham doesn't go, and this time James clears it up, and it was deflected out of play. So the face-off in front of Eric Daniel once again.
He has so many goals, 17 on the year. It's because he's doing a fantastic job at shooting at the off angles, and he's the reason why that play gets back in the own zone for a face-off because his height, able to knock that puck down.
Maryland wins the draw. Newnham with the shot, hits a stick. That was Garrett Arini who got out and blocked the shot. And they'll try it again.
I like what Maryland's doing here. They're keeping Noonan behind the face-off circle, kind of to the right side where he's at the point, all the way at the blue line. So if a face-off's won, it's going to go right to him. He's going to take a skate or two in and then rip one home.
He's going to have a chance here, walks into the top of the circle, drops it off, and the one-time shot was wide. Another chance here for Healy, though, and his shot blocked, but the rebound over to Newnham, and he finishes. Power play goal for Maryland. And the third penalty on Cade Cox comes back to bite the ice pack. It's 3-3.
Well, we mentioned you cannot give Maryland the power play. And Newnham, like I mentioned before, he's kind of like Ovechkin, stays on one side of the ice. The puck kind of just goes across to him on a very nice pass. And he's able to finish it off. Goal number 18 of the year for Max Newnham. It ties him with UNC Wilmington's Zach Frosch for the lead in the ACC HL Premier Division. We're tied at 3, and the penalties by Cox, it finally comes back to bite him. And that's what we were saying as well. You can't give Maryland any chances offensively, because if they're able to sustain zone time, they're an extremely dangerous team.
NC State wins the draw to restart, and a disrupted pass means the ice pack are offsides, and the puck comes out into neutral ice.
You're tied up now, and the big saves that have been made in net, and now the goal for Maryland. You know, Peltier is helping rejuvenate that Maryland squad. I said they needed a jolt. The big saves from Peltier have gotten them, and now a big power play goal from your go-to guy. Getting you back tied at 3 makes this a whole brand new game.
Jackson Cowan controls for NC State off the draw. Forward for Nick Shook. He's going to dance around a defender. Almost lost it. He's able to find Kaufman, who gets it right back in that far corner. Again, now Govea takes the shot. Loose in front. Kaufman couldn't get to the rebound, but Cowan holds the zone. Govea down to the near side. He's got Holden Kaufman again. Spinning with it. Back up for Cowan, looking for the shooting lane, and that's something that Maryland has done really well as they blocked yet another shot. That time it was Kyle Abosh, but I talked with Nick Shook a little bit before his interview at the first intermission and talked about how Maryland get, whether it's a body or a stick, in front of just about every NC State shot.
Yeah, they are. They're just taking away the shooting lanes, and it's not really blocking them with their body. They're just getting sticks on the puck. They're not letting them shoot the shot in the first place. And that's giving NC State a really hard time.
McConaughey turns around, chips it deep as NC State controls off another offensive zone draw. NC State, particularly in the offensive end, has done a good job winning possession. Shook, near circle, takes the shot, deflected wide. Kaufman, the forward, back to hold the zone at the blue line. He finds Shook, top of the near circle, sent to the middle, and it's deflected in. Tucker Healy scored one for Maryland earlier. He scores one for NC State here, and the Ice Pack back on top by 1.
Well, I was mentioning all of that great stuff about Maryland, the momentum they have, the energy they have, and then Shook was just throwing in front, looking for a man to come in and score. He was not thinking Tucker Healy will be that guy to put it into the back of the net, but he does. Right when you get all momentum, giving it back like that just kind of hurts if you're Maryland. So we have some issues with Peltier's mask, I believe. It's got the fans back and happy again after seeing Maryland's power play go to work. It's just one of those plays that can really just take you out of the game, a demoralizing play. If you're Maryland, you've got to keep your head up, especially Tucker Healy. He has a goal this game. So keep your head up. You're still winning. It's still a one-goal game, and you still got 22 minutes of hockey left.
But I'm not sure what's going on with Peltier at the moment. Max Newnham is over at the penalty box now, getting something for his goaltender. But you got to feel for Henri Peltier a little bit here, too. Both goals that he's given up this period have really been own goals. The first one was Zach Herman throwing the puck to the net, hit a defenseman in front, ends up in, and really not much different there for Nick Shook. Throw the puck to the middle, put it in the mixer, and see what spit out, and it was spit right through the legs of Peltier. And NC State, the benefactor again. 4-3 lead, 2:11 to go in the second as we restart. And NC State chips it in and goes right back to work. Trevor Drake bodied up on the far side. Scott Daniel holds the zone at the blue line, throws it towards the net. A nice snag there by Peltier as NC State got a stick on it to try and pop it up over top.
Did want to mention Wayne Mencher just giving out who scored the goal. I will go credit to Nick Shook. He was the last to touch the puck, so that's his second of the night. Granted, he didn't put it in the back of the net, but just wanted to make a quick note of that.
Well, maybe more so in hockey than any other sport. Just getting the puck to the right area, getting into the dangerous area, sometimes all you have to do. Turnaround shot from Bresingham off the draw, missed high. NC State throw it out of the end all themselves. Noonan putting some pressure on McConaughey, who's not happy with that play. He wanted, I think, a hooking penalty on Noonan, who kind of got a stick up into his armpit, I think, but he was offside anyhow, so play will stop, and the face-off comes out on top of the ice pack blue line.
Yeah, I think Noonan is stuck in the Harmon right now. I think he too thinks that probably should have been a hooking, but he'll trade that for an offside any day of the week.
NC State sends it Maryland's way off the face-off. Terrapins will look to break out, collected by Kravitsky. Looking across to the near side, can't connect with Noonan, and it's icing. So NC State with an offensive zone draw coming, 1:27 left in the period.
Well, the Iceback are able to win this draw, and I think they've done a great job of sustaining zone time. If they're able to do it again, this can really last. It seems like a good 40, 50 seconds, maybe even the rest of the period, as Spencer Harmon was late coming on for the draw. But if you're the Iceback, you got to win this draw and just sustain puck time and zone time. Really try to do it as long as you can and not let Maryland get a good chance with their first line still out there.
Maryland forces it out of their defensive end off the draw. NC State will regather there and send it right back in. Bouncing puck on Peltier. Goaltender does the only thing he can do and fields it like a shortstop for another draw.
If you're NC State, you're okay with that. You just don't want Maryland to get the puck again and move past the center line unless they're going in for a dump and change. They're going to get a change right now, probably going to be the last change of the period more likely than not. So if you're Maryland, you know the Iceback are just trying not to let you get out, not give you another opportunity. So you got to kind of take that to your advantage, kind of push back up on them and see what you could do.
Herman wins the draw for NC State. They'll send it into the corner. It's chipped up and out. Here's a chance in transition for Maryland. Shot coming off the stick of Thronson and out of play as Duchesne threw one at the net, and this time it's an offensive zone draw for the Terps.
Yeah, and that's one way, like I mentioned, you got to try to answer back and push up against NC State a little bit, and that's one way you can do it. I believe it was Beganowski leading the charge for Maryland on that left slide, going straight for the puck and gets them an offensive zone draw.
Herman on the face-off for NC State once again, up against Tucker Healy. Herman winning the draw for NC State. Labrise throws it off the glass, trapped down like a soccer ball there by Brenner, and his pass cross ice intercepted by Healy. He'll gain the red line, throws it in on Daniel, who directs it with his pad to a defenseman in Labrise, who turns it over. Maryland now with a chance in the offensive end. Thrown on goal, bodied down by Daniel on the shot from Tomaszewski, and they'll fight for it in the near corner. First one to it is Beganowski. Back up top, floated deep by Teskey. That's intercepted. Thronson forces it out with 30 seconds to go. Brenner continuing to advance it. He'll leave it for Arini. Looking over to Herman, trying to set up the one-timer and can't. Herman still in control. Centering pass for a charging Labrise. He'll track the loose puck down in the near corner. 15 seconds left in the second period. Labrise still. He'll be knocked off the puck, but not before he gets it deep. Herman leaves it for Arini. Spinning pass is intercepted. And the Terrapins going to run out the rest of the second period clock. NC State and Maryland trading a pair of goals here in the second. And a 4-3 lead for the Ice Pack after 40 minutes. I don't think that Beganowski liked that hit coming at the buzzer from Labrise.
No, he actually delivered it first, I believe. It was either him or Travis Duchesne that delivered it. So Labrise gave a little push back, and then Beganowski, the captain, could have taken possession of that. But Beganowski, that last minute, it was really all him keeping that zone time for Maryland. Had a good back check as well. It's something you like to see from your captain going into intermission down one. You like to see that line out there, which has the own goal from Tucker Healy, who also played well in that offensive zone push. You like to see that going into the second intermission and third period, because you've got your head held high and you're looking ready to answer back at any time.
Yeah, well, NC State gave up a pair, but they also got a pair. So a 4-3 lead after 2 periods. We'll be back with the second intermission.
From the top of D.H. Hill Library.
Don Diablo. Oh yeah, this is actually like in my studio.
WKNC HD3 Raleigh.
Hey, what's up and what's going on, folks? It's Kid Kinetic, your boy, up here at the top of the hour. And guess what I got? A treat that's too sweet to beat.
This is Wolf Bites Radio.
Oh, that's really sweet.
NC State.
We've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
I'm with 2018 lacrosse national champion Christian Gaudy for the FDA's Don't Get Burned Sunscreen Challenge.
Bring it, Daryl.
She's tough, but I won't get burned today. I'm using a broad spectrum sunscreen.
The FDA recommends broad spectrum sunscreens with an SPF of 15 or higher with other sun protection measures to reduce the risk of sunburn and skin cancer.
You smoked me, Kristen.
That's because I use sunscreen, so I wouldn't get burned by you and the sun.
Broad spectrum sunscreen. It's a winning play every time.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, ice pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all ice pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
NC State maintaining their 1-goal lead through 40 minutes as they have a 4-3 advantage over the Maryland Terrapins. After the second period, Chris Lehman, Nick Perazzi back with you. And Nick, NC State, again, took a penalty that ended up costing them a goal, but it was just kind of about throwing it to the net and seeing what happened offensively for them this period.
Yeah, it was the goal from Zach Herman. Just throw it in front. Oh, he was hoping that Garrett Arini would get there to knock it in. It goes off a body. It's 3-2 ice pack. And then the last goal, just kind of throw it on in front, looking for another body. I can't remember who it was, but Healy able to knock it on in for Maryland. Second time he's put one in the back of the net, but he wishes it was only one right now. And now 4-3 ice pack we sit. I think the big story, though, like we mentioned a couple times before, was Maryland blocking those good shooting chances. And then when NC State gets a good shooting chance, I think what's going to be a big story going into this third period is Peltier in net.
Yeah, he has been absolutely brilliant. That was that one sequence where he made a couple of spectacular saves, and I believe it was Jackson Cowan who hit the crossbar with the third try, but he hadn't hit the crossbar if Peltier isn't sprawling all over the place, making himself as big as possible. So he's been excellent in net. And I think, to me, when I look at going into that third period, and of course we'll discuss in a little more detail later, but you're only up by one if you're NC State. We've talked about it plenty, how this is a Maryland team that likes to be opportunistic. They like to take their chances in transition. And with just a 1-goal lead, all it takes is one slip-up, not even a slip-up, just a bad bounce that puts you in a compromising position, and Maryland can tie this game up.
Yeah, they can, and we saw penalties are the big reason why. Cade Cox with 3 of them down in the game, and finally one being able to bite the mat in the butt. And I think when you look at that power play with Max Noonan, he's able to get that goal on that power play. I think NC State's got to play a clean period, or they've got to be up by multiple goals if they take another penalty, because I don't see Maryland slowing down on the power play. I think they got rejuvenated with that power play. They got a big jolt of energy. I think it's going to be very hard to stop that power play the rest of the game.
Well, we are going to get a little bit more of an in-depth look at this NC State team and how things have been going on the other side of the break, as our Delaney Kearns will talk with assistant coach Alex Rossetto when we return.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
Life is for learning, from baby steps to big ideas. We plan, try, fail, and do better next time. Each day is a new experiment, a fresh chance to seek answers, connection, purpose. The mind is not a vessel to be filled. It's rocket fuel. And when you start at NC State University, you can't be stopped. The lessons learned here don't end with graduation. A great university goes far beyond campus. It allows you to see the big picture. A great university gives you tools, community, partnership, a launch pad. You don't just go to NC State University. You take us with you. We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go, from ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make, with bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
Hi, welcome back to the second intermission. I'm here with Ice Pack goalie coach Alex Rossetto. Coach, before we get into the hockey, I noticed you and the other coaches are wearing a gray ribbon tonight. Do you mind telling the viewers what that's for?
Yeah, so the gray ribbon actually represents brain cancer. We're wearing it tonight in honor of one of the kids that we coach, Mason Snyder. His father actually is, he has brain cancer, and unfortunately, he's going to be the player of the game, or the start of the game for the PNC game. But our thoughts and our prayers go out to the family. We're just trying to bring a little bit of awareness to that situation.
All right, thank you. And as for tonight's game, what do you want to see tonight from the Ice Pack to really shut down Maryland and capitalize on that?
One of the things I think we got to do is we got to come out and score early here. I mean, it really gets the people going to come out and get an early goal.
Right.
Get the
Gets
crowd
the
behind
momentum
you.
going.
Yeah,
for
It's
sure.
just get everybody behind you. Get the barn woken back up. Once we do that, I think we can carry this out to the the end of the game here.
For sure. Well, thank you so much.
Awesome.
We'll be right back in a minute.
Thank you.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
Life is for learning, from baby steps to big ideas. We plan, try, fail, and do better next time. Each day is a new experiment, a fresh chance to seek answers, connection, purpose. The mind is not a vessel to be filled. It's rocket fuel. And when you start at NC State University, you can't be stopped. The lessons learned here don't end with graduation. A great university goes far beyond campus. It allows you to see the big picture. A great university gives you tools, community, partnership, a launch pad. You don't just go to NC State University. You take us with you. We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go, from ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make, with bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
Chris Lehman and Nick Perazzi back with you here at the second intermission. NC State with a 4-3 lead over the Maryland Terrapins. And Nick, we've talked plenty about NC State in this game. Right now I want to focus a little bit more on Maryland. I talked about it before our last segment. NC State has done a really, really good job of not allowing Maryland to cleanly break out of the zone, but this is a Maryland team that only needs a few chances. You know, we mentioned they scored 3 goals on about 11, 12 shots the last time these two teams met. At this point, they've got 3 goals on 19 shots compared to 4 on 30 for NC State. So a big difference there, and a team that can be a little bit more efficient, at least in the shots to goals ratio.
Yeah, they definitely are the more efficient team, historically speaking, going back earlier in this year and especially tonight. And I think a big reason for that is just the scoring chances that they get. They're not going to shoot the puck on net willy-nilly, trying to just throw shots on. They're going to get a good scoring chance. We saw that with the power play with Noonan. Had a really nice goal off the left side of the goaltender Eric Daniel. And I think going into this next period, you saw how they played the last minute going into it. When your captain is the one that finally breaks out of a good forecheck like the Ice Pack have, able to set up an offensive chance to the other end, I think you got to use that as momentum. And going into this period, I think they may have solved something with that NC State forecheck, but I think the adjustments they're going to make right now and here in the second intermission are going to be very key to if they can break it. Because if they do, I think Maryland's got a really, really good shot at winning this.
I think another thing to note when you talk about the success that Maryland had in the second period compared to the first, you also have to look at that long change. And we talk about it all the time, but it is important, and that's the kind of thing that can open up the transition game, and it's part of the reason, at least at times, they were able to get up the ice quickly with a little bit of extra space. So that's going to be a little bit more advantageous to NC State as we get into the third period, I would say, just because you don't have that same long change where you can get caught out of position trying to get tired bodies off the ice. Now, if you're NC State, I think the biggest thing here is, and I think the most important thing is staying out of the penalty box. Overall, they've done a pretty good job of it tonight, I would say. 3 penalties isn't really all too bad. You do give up 1 power play goal, but you can't give them any more opportunities. There are a couple of guys in Tucker Healy and Max Noonan who are very good finishers. We saw that in the second period. We saw their ability to put the puck in the back of the net, so you can't give them those extra opportunities. Now, when you look at 5-on-5 hockey, NC State has absolutely dominated even strength hockey. So if you can keep it 5-on-5 for the next 20 minutes, NC State's going to be in a really good position.
You can, and I think one thing I noticed that last period, when Maryland is able to sustain zone time, NC State kind of has someone lurking at the point, getting ready for that breakaway, and Maryland kind of sits their 2 defensemen back, not letting them do that. This is an Ice Pack team that loves the stretch pass, try to get a quick breakaway, a scoring opportunity, and I think going into this period with the way their goaltender has been playing out of his mind tonight, I think Maryland can be a little more aggressive in that. And while you mentioned for NC State going in this period, keep it clean, I mean, the rest of the team has kept it clean. Cade Cox is kind of going mad at with Max Noonan. I think it still goes on this next period, as well as Nick Labrise. You got into it at the end of that last period. So going into this period, I think NC State's done a good job of staying out of the box. They just got to kind of tell Cade Cox to let it go, let Alex Noonan win the fight. Let's win the war, and the war being this game.
All right, well, there's just 20 minutes left, and they're close to dropping the puck for period number 3. So we'll come back with the third. NC State 4-3 lead over Maryland.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
From the top of D.H. Hill Library.
Don Diablo. Oh yeah, this is actually like in my studio.
WKNC HD3 Raleigh.
Hey, what's up and what's going on, folks? It's Kid Kinetic, your boy, up here at the top of the hour. And guess what I got? A treat that's too sweet to beat.
This is Wolf Bites Radio.
Oh, that's really sweet.
NC State.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, ice pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all ice pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
It's time to talk about men's mental health.
80% of suicides are done by men.
Men are 3 times less likely to ask for help if they are struggling.
One man every minute
Commits suicide.
Men are more likely to suffer from substance abuse disorders. Alcohol kills 6 times more men than women.
Men are 3 times less likely to ask for help if they are struggling.
We've never needed each other more
than we do right now.
It's okay to not be okay.
It's okay to talk about how you feel.
Being silent doesn't mean you are being strong.
This is a movement for men's health.
The silence needs to be broken.
Did you check your
Men need
today?
support too. The stigma.
The stigma.
I don't know if you can hear us. Carl, can you hear me?
The stigma.
The stigma ends here.
The stigma ends here.
Nah, everything's good. Everything's good.
40 minutes down, 20 to go here at Invisalign Arena, NC State with a 1-goal advantage over the Maryland Terrapins as we start the third and final frame. For NC State, they're going to go with the line of Zach Herman centering Garrett Arini and Aiden Brenner with the defensive pairing for the Ice Pack of Nick Labreezy and Andrew Thronson. On the other side for Maryland, it's going to be Matt Kravitsky at center. Flanking him will be Max Dunham as well as Trevor Drake. The defensive pairings for the Terrapins, or at least the pairing to start the period, is Tomaszewski and Teskey. Puck's in all the way down by the Terps. It'll be icing 12 seconds in. And NC State, who has been so good on offensive zone draws, will get another one here.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a really big story. I keep asking you, can Maryland get the big face-off wins when they can? They haven't really gotten them at all. Really, that first period. Second period, they did a lot better in doing so. Early one here, a win would do a lot of wonders in keeping momentum.
Herman to Brenner, shot wide off the back. Boards. NC State trying to hold the zone as Labreezy pinches, can't get possession. Here come the Terrapins. Quick opportunity, shot off the glove, it looked like, of Eric Daniel. And up over top, big save for the NC State netminder. Maryland trying to put some pressure on. Drake's backhand pass to the middle, denied there by Herman. He'll pitch it up the wall for Arini. Centering pass on the breakout, off the stick of Brenner. Terrapins back in control. It's Newnham. He'll walk it in down that wing. Bodied up, nice hit there. Except it's going to be a penalty. Wow. Be interested to see this call. It looked like a pretty good hit. Wow, they're going to call a slash. I'm not sure he slashed him. I thought he took 2 hands and forced him to the ground. But it's going to be another power play for Maryland. NC State with an important kill coming up here.
If you're NC State, you can't take a lot of penalties.
So Maryland, ooh, an awkward carom. NC State with a shorthanded chance. Here comes Bresingham. He's got Oliver with him, takes the shot, and the rebound will be knocked into the corner, but a good chance right out of the gate for NC State shorthanded.
Tell you what, Bresingham, it seems like almost any time he's out there and he gets the puck, it's a shorthanded opportunity. He doesn't have a shorthanded goal yet. And I feel like as the season goes on, he's bound to have one.
Maryland setting up the power play. Bad angle shot, body down by Daniel. NC State going to advance. Kate Cox, another shorthanded opportunity as he comes in with Oliver. shut down on the near wall. Cox has it stuck in his skates. He'll be knocked down, and Maryland will take back control. Rink wide pass for Newnham as he takes it from Travis Duchesne. Newnham lost it in his skates, got it back. He'll carry it into the zone. Cuts to the slot, lost the handle. They'll regather on the far wall. Floats a backhand pass to the near side. Teske with the shot, deflected up into the body of Eric Daniel, who makes the save, and now NC State clears it out. Bresingham with the pressure. He'll give time for the rest of his penalty-killing unit to get off the ice. 45 seconds left on the power play for Maryland. Lifted in there by Teske. First one to it is Cowan of NC State. They'll throw it up the far side. Herman trying to poke it out and does. Arini picks up the loose puck. Here comes NC State shorthanded again. Herman over to Arini. They score. A shorthanded goal for the Ice Pack, and they double the lead to 5-3.
Well, I said Bressingham's bound for one, but how about the captain, Garrett Arini? The speed is able to get him all the way home, and with the goal, Newnham just had a hard time controlling the puck. Got a little carefree with it at the blue line. That allowed Arini to get that breakaway opportunity, skating hard down the ice, got a nice little pass across, and it's 5-3 Ice Pack. That is a massive goal to go up 2, especially on the penalty kill. That's something Maryland could not afford to do. Now down 2. Still a lot of time in the third, but they've got to get something going on this power play, I think, if they want to have a chance to get back in this one.
So NC State with a big short-handed goal. Now with about 15 seconds left to kill on the power play. Really, NC State may have had more scoring chances short-handed than Maryland on the power play. Chance here, though, and the off-angle shot hit the side of the net for Duchesne. NC State can't clear, though. Down low. Another try. That whistles wide off the stick of Kravitsky. And now NC State coming out of the box has a chance, but they're going to go right back as they had too many men on the ice. A miscommunication. Brenner was going to have a breakaway, but he came straight out of the box, and I think he was supposed to go to the bench instead of taking that puck.
Yeah, because Nick Shook, the second he passed it, he turned around, went back to the bench. They've been doing that a lot when Cade Cox has been in the box. They have Cade Cox go out there and Shook at the same time, and Cox will immediately go to the bench. It didn't work there. Maryland back on the power play. A big break for them now down 2. They've got to get something going on this power play, though. They have to take advantage of NC State's lapse.
Boy, and this really effectively becomes like a 4-minute power play, but it's only going to last 6 seconds here as Newnham picks the top right corner, and it's a 5-4 game.
A 30-point season before Thanksgiving break for Max Newnham. And Maryland does get something there to get back in this one, right back down to 1 once again. And that's the danger with Alex Newnham. He's got 2 goals today. There's 3 people in this game where both teams combined that have 2 goals this game. And watch Newnham. He gives it across the point. He goes straight into the face-off circle, and he just kind of tight ropes it in. Gets around Ricky Frosch's block attempt to snuff one home.
Maryland going to put pressure on NC State right off the draw again. Centering pass, caught up in skates. NC State will collect the loose puck and bring it back the other way. Shook, lost the handle, got it back. And it'll be poked off his stick again by Luke Mohan and out of the zone. NC State going back to work again. Govea fans on the shot from the top of the near circle. Terrapins first to it as Kaufman comes over to pressure. Puck squirts loose to Mohan. Terps clear it back to the NC State blue line. Frosch reverses it again. Slides it out to the far side. Looking for the deflection there was Shook, and Frosch couldn't get a piece of it, but James sweeps it back in on goal. Peltier, easy save. Shook fires it across the ice, trying to connect with Kaufman and couldn't. Golden Kaufman collects, lost an edge. He'll get it back as Shook chopped it loose. Kaufman turning in the corner. Looking for space, floats it out in front. Rebound there, Peltier makes the save as Govea right there in the blue paint with a chance. NC State, good response here after giving that goal back.
Yeah, really good response. Govea right in front, just couldn't able to get it sneaking around Henri Peltier. And Peltier able to keep good puck control, keep it in front of him at all times. It's something that he's been really strong with today. It's the reason why they're still in this game.
Maryland controls off the draw, puck out to neutral ice. Robinson tried to hack it back, but it's off of Chase Wilson and into the NC State end. Robinson chips it in. Peltier stops it behind the net. Emery Oliver with some pressure as NC State tries to set up the forecheck. They'll force Warner back behind his own net. Emery Oliver there to knock it loose. Bresingham picks up the puck. Oh, he just directed it wide. Peltier sealed things off nicely as NC State had a good chance in tight. Now it's Labrizzi taking the Maryland clearance. He'll go D to D. Thronson drops it back. About 5 minutes gone in this third period. NC State with a goal, Maryland with an answer. It's still a one-goal contest here. NC State, good clearance there. Avoided the icing, they needed a change and got it. Clearance. Glove down by Harmon. He's dispossessed. McEnany back to help, holds the blue line for a moment, but Maryland will ice the puck as Tucker Healy swats it all the way down the ice.
Another couple of good scoring chances in front for NC State, but once again, Henri Peltier able to make some big plays in front, keep the puck in front of him, not behind him. Still one-goal game, and I think that's going to be key to make it a one-goal game. You can lean on Peltier a little bit. Yeah, there's been 5 goals by the Ice Pack. 2 of them really have gone off his own teammates, and one of them was a 2-on-0 breakaway. So Maryland can lean on him a little bit, but I think going into it, you got to just kind of keep the puck away from him for a while because you don't know if a bad bounce might happen.
Beganowski breaks the puck out of the zone himself for Maryland, but turns it over around the red line. NC State now advances it back the other way. Scott Daniel sends it in. Chipped out by Maryland, but holding it is McConaughey at the blue line. Maryland another chance to break out. Healy absorbs a check. Can't keep the puck up. They'll just ping pong back and forth between the two teams for the moment. McConaughey sends it in again. Knocked down by Sarah. Maryland in possession once more. Heyman. Cross ice pass off the mark. Loose puck picked up by NC State's Jackson Cowan. Bounces it off the glass. It's still hopping around in neutral ice. It'll be collected by Sarah again. He finds Noonan, who's already got one this period. Rips it across the ice for Drake, who's knocked down. NC State takes it back the other way. Herman through the middle. He's got Arini. Turns on the Jets. And a big save made by Peltier as Arini came in one-on-one. But showing off the speed there was the captain for NC State.
He was, and I mentioned it before. It's the reason why he had a second goal. Was looking to get speed to be the reason why he got the hat trick today. And Peltier stands tall again, makes another big save when he needs to. Maryland leaning on him and once again to make a big save. Able to keep the puck in front, keep it a one-goal game for now.
Herman wins the draw. Arini has trouble with another puck that gets up on edge. Maryland clears. They'll go in on the forecheck now. First one to it is NC State defenseman Cade Cox. He'll ring it around the wall. NC State trying to chip it up and out. Brenner with a second effort able to carry it out. Now he'll send it deep and Herman in to collect the loose puck. He'll cycle with it. Backhanded back for Arini. Bolted in the corner, sent to the middle, looking for Herman on the far side. And it's deflected away where Cade Cox can pick it up. NC State defenseman working with it. Turns it around. Down low again. Brenner slid out for Frosch. One-time shot. Saved through traffic by Peltier. Getting down to his knees. Cox holds the zone. Back over to Arini. Cross ice. Brenner curls. Drag shot. Sprawling save made by Peltier. And he'll cover it up. But I'll tell you, Henri Peltier has put on a clinic in net, even though he's given up 5 goals.
Yeah, the last 2 goals were not goals, shots that NC State took. I really like that one with Ricky Frosch, where he had Herman kind of just blocking it in front. He jumps out of the way, really good save. And then Peltier went down to the dirty birdie position. A little worried about that puck being elevated, but he kept it in front, knocked it down.
Turnaround shot, shook, stopped and held on to by Peltier.
How about Peltier, though? Again, just keep the puck in front, and that's been his big thing today. Good puck control from Peltier right now ever since that little couple of weird bounces that the puck took before. Maryland gets a nice face-off.
Nick Shook behind the net, knocked loose. Govea's turnaround shot hit the side of the goal. He knocked into the near corner. Shook first to it. Kaufman out for Govea. The one-time shot blocked by Peltier. Another great save for the Maryland netminder. Good pressure here from NC State's forecheck. Finally finding some space. Amon backhands it out. NC State will collect the puck again, though. Gouveia turning at the red line. Centers for Kaufman, who crosses the blue line with it. Looking for some help. It's not there, so he carries it into the corner and stops with it. Now some space. Back to Thronson. Fires away. Peltier saw it the whole way. And he'll freeze it once more.
Well, NC State, even though they're not getting the puck in the back of the net, they're putting the pressure on Peltier. And I think the bigger story is they're also killing time. Just under 12 to play now in this game. They've done a really good job, really the entire game, of keeping possession of the puck. And another offensive zone face-off. Maryland really hasn't been able to get anything going outside that power play offensively.
Good win from Oliver. Robinson high slot walking with it. Pestered there by Beganowski. He'll slide it behind the net for Bresingham. NC State cycles the puck. James having trouble backtracking for it. And NC State will be whistled for being offsides, as Bresingham touched it just a little bit early prior to coming out of the zone.
Once again, neutralized face-off, but NC State's dominated them. I think if Maryland wants to into this game, they've got to start looking to see kind of what Texas A&M did last week to NC State. Just go for those odd man rushes. Kind of just sit on them. Peltier has done a fantastic job on goal. I think be a little aggressive defensively now.
Maryland trying to break out, pinching in Brenner. Ooh, that Emery Oliver just about held the zone. Just didn't quite get there in time. NC State's kind of goaded Maryland into a couple of those breakout passes tonight and created turnovers that way.
Yeah, going back to the last offsides. From our vantage point, we're right on the blue line. And that one, I don't think that one left the offensive zone.
Maryland back in control. Pass cross ice will be chipped along by Travis Duchesne. Alex James there to track it down. Cleared out, and Maryland will regroup once more. Alex Sandell fires it off the wall. NC State back to it again. Pass lifted to Zach Robinson, who has trouble controlling. Still loose in the neutral zone. Bresingham corrals it, trying to steer it along for McEnany, who collects. They'll drop it off for McConaughey. And now Alex James. Back to his defensive partner, McConaughey. James looking forward, trying to stretch things out. It's off the glove hand there of Alex Sandell, which prevents what could have been an icing call. And now Zach Robinson carries it deep. He'll be bodied up in the corner. Help there from McEnany, who's knocked down hard. Big hit laid there by Andre Serra. Play carries on as Robinson sweeps one towards the net. Rebound cleared out by Maryland, and now Cox loses an edge. Now Newnham can come in. Nice job from behind by McEnany to body up Newnham and negate that potential scoring chance. Max Newnham in control once again. Feathers a pass to the middle, nobody there. NC State will track it down in neutral ice. Daniel drops it off for Frosch. And now Cox in the middle. Harmon and Daniel trying to get on the same page. They do. Scott Daniel centers for Herman. That's deflected back behind the goal. Picked up there by Tomaszewski. He'll clear a bouncing puck out. Cox fires it quickly back in. Trying to prevent Maryland from changing there, I think. Again, Tomaszewski, he's got space up that far side this time. Carries it in, drags around one man before he's knocked down. Well executed check there at open ice by Cade Cox, and NC State can move forward. Herman, beautiful vision to find Arini, takes the shot. Another big save made by Peltier. Herman and Arini have been on it here in this third period. Newnham back the other way. He's dispossessed. Loose picked up there by Tomaszewski. His shot doesn't get to the goal. NC State trying to break out again. One-timer knocked down in front. Newnham back in control. Tried to pitchfork it on goal. That one didn't get through. And the centering pass now stolen by Herman, who will lift it up and out. And NC State can get some tired bodies off as Brenner backs down the puck. He finds Arini sliding out in front, forced behind though. Looking to the middle. That pass caught up in the slot. Shot there from Brenner. Pad save made by Peltier. Over to Labrizzi now. He'll fire away. They score. Herman, I was there. I don't think he deflected it. He pointed at the defenseman. And Labrizzi has given NC State back that 2-goal advantage.
His first goal as a member of the Ice Pack, those yellow laces will be taken off after tonight's game. And just from the point, yeah, it doesn't hit anybody. Just a lot of traffic out there from Zach Herman. That third line for NC State's done a lot for them tonight. 2 goals from Arini. Herman has a goal as well. And now they're setting up the defenseman Carlton's able to put the puck in the back of the net. A little screen assist, if you will. Won't go in the box score, but you look back at the game, you'll definitely see it. And now 6-4 Maryland. It seems like they were starting to get things going a little bit offensively, but a bad turnover in the offensive end led to more sustained zone time for NC State, which led to their 6th goal of tonight.
And I'll be interested to hear the announcement because it looked like they may have switched things up. It might have been Herman's goal. We'll see here.
They do give credit to Zach Wade and enters that one to the rafters. And well, it's usually 5 goals. We say this didn't say it. We'll say it after 6. We go to the Cameron District Modes tomorrow, and I'll say it right this time, Chris. Free queso if you use the code queso goal at checkout. That's right, queso goal at checkout. Thanks to NC State scoring 5+ goals. You can check that out at the Cameron District Modes tomorrow.
Here's Nick Shook off the draw. Backhander doesn't get to the net. Bieganowski breaks it out for Maryland. Looking to the near side for Duchesne. He can't connect with it, and Maryland forced to just clear it all the way in. McConaughey. Long for Cowan. He'll throw it off the glass. Took an awkward hop up, but didn't come out of the zone. Big hit from Govea jars the puck loose. NC State back in control. McConaughey breaks it out for Kaufman, but it's in his skates. Loose puck now tracked down by Jason Steinberg. Under some pressure there from Kaufman, he's able to clear it out. This puck up on edge, not going to get all the way down for icing. Good forecheck there from Bieganowski. Couldn't get the shot on goal, though. He has created a little bit of chaos in the NC State end. Kaufman trying to skate it out. He'll step through traffic, gets back to the puck. The centering pass blocked down, and Maryland reverses it back the other way. Here's Joyce. Steps around McConaughey, but doesn't take the puck with him. Govea reverses for the ice pack. Steps through his defender and elevates it over top of Peltier and the net. NC State back to work in the offensive zone. Shook over to Robinson, and it looks like the net is off its moorings, and so the official going to stop play to fix that.
Mentioned it already tonight. Seen that goal a lot of times get off its moorings or have an issue. I want to go back. Really, on every home game we've had this season, just count how many times that net has had a problem with it, whether it's off its moorings or something in it. Be interesting to see, just by coincidence, what gives NC State a good face-off offensively.
Ice pack will control, shoveled in by Cade Cox at the blue line. Loose puck collected by Robinson, thrown at an off angle, and Peltier able to absorb it and hold on. Not a bad idea there from Robinson, trying to catch the Maryland netminder off guard.
No, it's not. We saw it earlier in this game. I can't remember who it was for NC State that tried it. It was after all those wacky bounces that went Peltier's way. You know, just throwing it off someone's back sometimes when they're not looking, they're running ready for the wraparound chance. Sometimes you can throw it off his back, it gets into the net. It's one of those goals that goes in and looks back and says, I can't believe I let that one slip.
NC State had a chance off the draw. The centering pass, though, denied, and the Terrapins move it up and out. Trevor Drake had some trouble controlling that pass. NC State needed to take advantage of the turnover. Oliver advances it forward for Robinson. Steps past his defender and into the near corner. He'll backhand it behind the goal for Bresingham. Pushed along there. Newnham, first one to it for Maryland, and he'll clear it out. But again, the Terrapins, there's no real intentional passing out of the zone. They're just trying to clear it to space and alleviate some pressure. Here comes Cade Cox into the middle for Robinson. It's in his skates, and the Terrapins take back control. Good back check there from Cox. He can't disrupt though. Newnham trying to drag around Emery Oliver, who shuts that down and clears it back down the ice. Newnham kicked it to the middle. NC State steals it away. Harmon with the shot, blocked on the way in by Tomaszewski. NC State trying to set up on the attack, but the centering pass stolen. Numbers for Maryland if they hurry as Tomaszewski advances. He'll look to the middle. Takes the, I thought he was going to take a shot. His pass was actually deflected in on goal. And it's Eric Daniel freezing it for another face-off with 5:44 to go.
I think a big story right now for Maryland is their defense is kind of just not there energy-wise. They kind of made a couple of bad plays. The last scoring chance for NC State was led because of that. Granted, they have an offensive zone face-off, but that defense has to get stronger, or else NC State might just start running away with it if they can't answer.
Ice Pack trying to break it out. Good pressure from the Terps forecheck. Ice Pack do with some force get it out. McEnany down that far side boards. Has it knocked off his stick. Loose puck bounces to the middle where Tomaszewski can pick it up. He'll carry it along through neutral ice. Scott Daniel coming back to give him some trouble. Forces him into the wall. You see it up close there. NC State comes away with it. It's Labrizzi stopping behind his goal. Back to the near side. Plenty of space for Thronson to move forward. He takes a big hit there from Healy, and the puck comes loose. Maryland trying to advance. Centering pass intended for Bosch is deflected away and cleared out. Now Maryland in their own end. They just don't quite look organized on the breakout. Even when they carry it out of the zone, they just don't seem to have a lot of structure through neutral ice.
No, they don't. I think that defense is kind of the main culprit of it, as well as some sloppy passes that they made. Sometimes they just haven't made the play. It's been right to NC State, who's had a good scoring chance.
Quick shot coming, steered aside by Eric Daniel. Into the near side, held in at the blue line by Steinberg as he wraps it around the wall and deep. Nice little reverse hit there from Beganowski to create some space. Maryland still on the attack. They've got time even though they're down 2. Centering pass. Daniel went in for the poke check and missed, and Maryland couldn't take advantage of the open net. Arini had his pass stolen away. Man taken down for Maryland. Play continues as Herman collects the loose puck. He'll circle back with it. Finds an open man in Thronson, who steps past the defender, walks in. Thronson fires high and wide. NC State's Arini will swat it deep into the far corner. Brenner in control now for NC State, walking it back behind the net. Decides to backhand it down low for James. He'll hold it in the corner there, trying to find some space and some help, and instead turns it over behind the goal. Healy up to Newnham. Chipped up to the near side. Healy will track it down for Maryland and carry it in. Trying to step around James, forcing his way to the near post. Couldn't get a good shot away. NC State back in control. Up the near side, Herman tried to get a touch to it, slowed it down just enough to avoid icing. NC State can get a change.
Coming up on the final 3 to play, that camera right there is going to be key. We'll let you know when Henri Peltier leaves the box, leaves the crease. It won't be right now, though.
NC State with a steal. Holden Kaufman trying to lead Nick Shook there and overshot the pass. NC State keeps the pressure up. Pass to the near side. Drake will sweep it in. Eric Daniel sets it up behind the net for Jackson Cowan. D to D with James. He'll look through the middle. Nice receipt of the pass. Skate to stick for Joey Govea. Had some trouble though as the puck got away from him. Poked back to Kaufman. He'll send it down low for Nick Shook, who's already got a pair tonight. Holding it there now. Down to 2:20 left in this game as Govea in control. Knocked off the puck by Newnham. Picked up by Cade Cox. He'll float one towards the goal. Glove down there nicely by Kravitsky. And he'll saucer it out of the zone. Intercepted now by Shook, who carries it in. He'll weave through traffic down that far right side. Fires. And a save made by Peltier, who will hold on for another faceoff.
Well, I think tonight one of the big stories is that NC State has just solidified their identity of a hockey team and what they play by, and it's the forecheck and the dominant offensive zone time. They have nearly doubled up Maryland in shots, 47 to 24, and they've wasted about a minute of time that Maryland could have pulled Peltier, and it's going to keep continuing because they just keep possession of the puck.
Kate Cox takes the shot. Big blocker save made. Still loose in front. Waiting was Emery Oliver, and his shot got deflected high and wide. Good chance there for NC State. Oliver just trying to outweight the netminder and couldn't as Cox throws one on the ice through traffic. And Peltier up to the task again. Down to 1:40 left in the contest. Puck stuck up along the sidewall here. Bressingham forces it down low into the corner. And again, Maryland trying to break out, but NC State doing a great job collapsing down low and creating this chaos. Robinson leaves it for Cox as NC State back on the attack. Cade Cox working behind the net, tried to reverse with it. Lost the handle, got it back. Centering pass intercepted by Chase Wilson, who clears it to neutral ice with 1:10 to go. It has been a solid third period from NC State. As a big hit coming in, Cade Cox knocks his man down as he's tangled up with Brian Teskey in the corner, and they're going to go at it. Well, I'm not sure exactly what started it. I saw the initial hit from Cox. There was a little extra shove after.
Cox down, and then Cox took exception to it. Seemed like he almost wanted to fight him after the play, and then he got pushed right into the boards. Since he stayed not happy, I was more focused on the fact that Maryland never pulled their goaltender, Henri Pelletier, that entire time. Maryland had that chance down 54 seconds, but we're going to see some penalties coming up into the box for Maryland. It's going to be Brian Teskey, and Cade Cox will go there for the 4th time tonight. We'll get a replay of that hit. Go. Just one-on-one, and it seems there. I don't know if that was, but then after the play, it's kind of what really started it.
Right now, at least, there are 2 minutes for both of them. I think both Cade Cox and Brian Teskey are going to go to the locker room. They're matching minors, so neither of them have the potential to come out of the penalty box, I don't believe. And so with less than 2 minutes left, as we get another look at what happened after the play, they should both be gone. You see there, a little extra shot from Cade Cox, and then really nothing all that bad from either of them. Just a little extracurriculars, and the officials wanted to shut it down late in the game. Now, it is interesting that Cade Cox went to the dressing room, but Teskey has not. My understanding is it's matching minors. It's 4-on-4 regardless for the next 54 seconds. Unless there was something extra to Cade Cox, which is not out of the question, with the tempers kind of getting a little bit hot here at the end.
When Cade Cox left the ice, he was furious. It seemed like he was yelling from our vantage point. It's a hard angle to look at, but he was extremely mad. Teskey's going to stay in. They might also say because of the shove he gave. There's another good chance. Herman really wanted that one to go back to Arini for the hat trick.
Greasy couldn't get the shot away. And now NC State has to get back. Newnham, 38 seconds left. There's still time for 2 goals if they can get one here, but a big save standing tall by Eric Daniel. As Max Newnham scored one earlier this period in a similar fashion.
Well, you said there's still time for it, and with a player like Newnham, it's really a golden opportunity right there. He could have cut it down to 1, but that entire time, Pelletier stayed in his crease, and head coach Joe Carter never looked at him to call him out. They have to get the extra attacker out here. Hopefully this timeout addresses that. I don't really understand Maryland's standpoint here. Yeah, NC State has gotten down the ice, but when Maryland's had the advantage, they've had the best offensive looks. They've been down that other end. They have a goal because of it. I'm really just puzzled with the move, especially down 2. You've got nothing to lose right now, especially in the waiting seconds from the decision not to pull Pelletier. Although it seems like now he is going to be pulled finally, but I think it's just too little too late, Chris.
Yeah, and I think the biggest issue for Maryland is you got to try and get established and get possession, and NC State not making it easy. So you look how quickly they come back down the ice. You end up with Pelletier caught at the bench, and then you're really in trouble. But they are going to, as you kind of alluded to there, Nick, they are going to pull him now, and it will be 5-on-4 as long as he stays out. Again, it'd have to be 2 pretty quick strikes, but there's still time. If Maryland can get one quickly here. And they'll take a quick shot off the draw. That was Drake who chopped it wide. Maryland will keep the pressure up. Cross ice, Newnham. Down to 25 seconds left. Kaufman or Unry Oliver with the pressure. His rink-wide pass sets up a one-timer there that sent high by Tomaszewski. Maryland, though, continuing to keep NC State under some duress as Bresingham chips it out to the blue line, putting some pressure on. Nice job by Newnham to hold the zone. The Terrapin starting to run out of time, though, as that shot deflects high and over the net, and time will run out on Maryland. NC State with a 6-4 victory over the Maryland Terrapins here this evening, and another impressive showing for the Icemen.
Yeah, really great, impressive showing by NC State, a team they struggled to put up goals against last time they met up in Virginia. They would put 6 goals on them this time, 49 shots for the Ice Pack. They didn't get the good scoring opportunities like Maryland did in terms of efficiency, but they were there. A lot of props tonight in goal for Henri Pelletier. He really kept Maryland in it with some massive and phenomenal saves that have my hands on my have me put my hands on my head sometimes. But a very big win for NC State. We mentioned in the pregame, you have to focus on this game before the next one. And boy, do we have a treat on Monday night.
Yeah, NC State certainly looking pretty good with 3 consecutive wins heading into the Governor's Cup. It will be the last game for the Ice Pack of the semester, and they want to get that Governor's Cup back after giving up. For the Terrapins, they go right back to work tomorrow, a 2-game set here in the Triangle area as they will head over to Hillsborough to take on those pesky Tar Heels from North Carolina. As for us, we're going to step aside. We'll be back with post-game coverage on the other side of this break. NC State with a 6-4 win over Maryland.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
Life is for learning, from baby steps to big ideas. We plan, try, fail, and do better next time. Each day is a new experiment, a fresh chance to seek answers, connection, purpose. The mind is not a vessel to be filled. It's rocket fuel. And when you start at NC State University, you can't be stopped. NC State. Think and do.
Hey there, doing some yard work? Installing a new fence, flowers, or shrubs? Stop! Don't dig just yet! You have buried gas, electric, and even internet lines down there. Before you pick up a shovel, pick up a phone or go online and contact 811. 811 is a free service. Yes, free! 811 is the first step to having those buried utilities marked. 811 keeps you safe, protects the lines, and it's the law. This safety message brought to you by North Carolina 811.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop. Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
NC State will head into the Governor's Cup on a 3-game winning streak as they cap off this one with a 6-4 victory over the Maryland Terrapins. Chris Lehman, Nick Prozzi back with you post-game. And Nick, I think this is a good way if you're NC State. There are certainly some things to clean up, but this is a good way to go into a big game to end the semester.
It is, and I think, like we mentioned, we said it a couple times today, you got to focus on this game before you go on to that big game you have circled on your calendar every year. So I think this is a really big win as well because the floodgates have officially opened offensively. This Maryland team held them to 2 goals a couple weeks ago in Virginia. They put up just a couple more shots than they did up in Virginia, but they had 4 more goals than they did. Yep. You go back to last week, they had 13 goals in 2 games. They have 6 tonight. 19 the last 3 games versus the 3 in Virginia. They only had
almost
5.
6 a game.
Yeah. So really, really good numbers for the Ice Pack. They're starting to hit their stride towards the end of the semester. unfortunate timing. There's only one game left, but you got to keep that momentum going into that big Christmas break and hope it comes back out on the other side and keep your head high knowing some solutions have been made offensively.
I think if you're NC State, as we do kind of start to look towards this game coming up on Monday, the one thing you want to do better than you did tonight is discipline. A few too many penalties. Maryland has some threats on the power play, but as you could see out there, NC State did a pretty good job of just keeping them outside and not allowing them to get to those high danger areas. Carolina's a different story. They've got a lot of weapons, not just on the first power play unit, but on the second as well. You can't give them as many opportunities as they gave Maryland tonight.
No, when we saw them here a couple of weeks ago, UNC was able to get a goal off the power play, and they were able to just kind of keep pressure. They had a lot more chances than Maryland did off the power play. They might have not looked as good as Maryland's chances some of the times, but overall, they put a lot of pressure on NC State's goaltending. That's going to be a big story. Again, we mentioned it all year long. The penalties for NC State, like you've mentioned, have just riled up, and it's the reason why they've lost some of those close games. So going into this game on Monday, a big rivalry game, trying to get that Governor's Cup back. Can you just limit the penalties and emotions a bit and keep into a clean game of hockey?
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. We still got some more coverage coming your way for this one. We'll be back with more postgame after this.
From the top of D.H. Hill Library.
Don Diablo. Oh yeah, this is actually in my studio.
WKNC HD3 Raleigh.
Hey, what's up and what's going on, folks? It's Kid Kinetic, your boy, up here at the top of the hour. And guess what I got? A treat that's too sweet to beat.
This is Wolf Bites Radio.
Oh, that's really sweet.
NC State. Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, ice pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all ice pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
It's time to talk about men's mental health.
80% of suicides are done by men. Men are 3 times less likely to ask for help if they are struggling.
1 man
every minute
commits suicide.
Men are more likely to suffer from substance abuse disorders. Alcohol kills 6 times more men than women.
Men are 3 times less likely to ask for help if they are struggling.
We've never needed each other more
than we do right now.
It's okay to not be okay.
It's okay to talk about how you feel.
Being silent doesn't mean you are being strong.
This is a movement for men's health.
The silence needs to be broken.
Men need support too.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma ends here.
The stigma ends here.
Chris Lehman and Nick Prozzi back with you here after an NC State win, 6-4 over the Maryland Terrapins. As we mentioned, a little bit of revenge for NC State after being served a loss a couple weekends ago at the hands of the Terrapins. But I think this is a team that has really kind of stepped into like a different segment, a different phase of this season. They've started to get everything figured out. As we talked about, the offense is really clicking now, and I think that is a huge positive as you go into the end of the semester. But as you said, there's going to be a big break. It's going to be up to these guys when they go home for the holidays to make sure that they stay in shape and stay game ready.
And I think a big portion of that we might not be able to touch on Monday night because of the just the extremities of that game, but coming out of the break, those first couple games, NC State will be shorthanded a couple people, including Coach Tim Healy, who are going over into Europe for a couple of games, so that may affect things as well. But getting a big win tonight and hitting your groove, there's a reason why this team has the number 8 next to them in the Southeast rankings. They've played a very, very tough schedule, and they've really only had one game that was kind of just a blowout loss for them. Otherwise, they've really hung into things in terms of D2 play. So I think NC State, not only did they find their stride, they also found a way to win those close games they were losing before, and I think that's a really big point of emphasis going forward.
Yeah, I think the other thing to look at if you're NC State tonight, you've probably got 6 goals on a really good goaltender. 43 saves for Henri Peltier tonight. He had a heck of a game. We saw him make a couple of sprawling saves, a couple of split saves. He did a fantastic job and really gave NC State a good test against a pretty sizable goaltender, which they'll see another of, in all likelihood, in Joel Hughes on Monday.
Yeah, and Peltier tonight, really 2 of those goals were off his own teammates. So really, you know, you get rid of 2 of those goals, it's a tie game right now. That's the difference, and that's how hockey works sometimes, a lot of puck luck. But when you put 49 shots on goal, you dominate the offensive end. For majority of the game, I can't really think of any time Maryland had offensive zone pressure for more than 2 or 3 minutes at 5-on-5 even strength hockey. Good things happen when you do that, and that's exactly what we saw tonight.
Yeah, and I think if you look at things for NC State, again, just kind of wrapping up this game, there are not a lot of things that they did wrong. They did a really good job of stifling the transition for Maryland. In fact, I don't think any of Maryland's goals really came off the transition. It was a lot of man advantage time for NC State in their own zone that really led to the chances for Maryland. And so I think there are a lot of things that you take away going into the game on Monday. But a big win for NC State. We're going to step aside when we come back. We'll wrap things up with head coach Tim Healy.
Life is for learning, and that doesn't stop with graduation. A great university goes far beyond campus. It allows you to see the big picture. A great university gives you tools, community, partnership, a launch pad. You don't just go to NC State University. You take us with you. NC State. Think and do.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, ice pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all ice pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
From the top of D.H. Hill Library.
Don Diablo. Oh yeah, this is actually like in my studio.
WKNC HD3 Raleigh.
Hey, what's up and what's going on, folks? This is Kid Kinetic, your boy, up here at the top of the hour. And guess what I got? A treat that's too sweet to beat.
This is Wolf Bites Radio.
Oh, that's really sweet.
NC State.
Well, we mentioned it before. The offense exploded once again for the Ice Pack, and another person that exploded last weekend who did it well today was Zach Herman. Zach, going into this game, there's a looming game on Monday. What do you guys do in the locker room kind of just to focus in on today's game and make sure you walked out with a W tonight?
Yeah, I think it's really just a next game mentality. Obviously, everyone's excited for Monday, but we got a good little streak going right now, and next one on the schedule is most important, and then you just keep going with that pattern.
So going back into this game, don't want to kind of allude all the way into Monday. I want to talk about this game a little bit as well. Maryland was a very tough team. You guys lost them a couple weeks ago. So what kind of things did you guys change going into this one? And as the game went on, that went a lot differently than it did a couple weeks ago because that offense got going today. Yeah, I think a couple weeks ago, we just kind of had an identity check, and we got a lot more physical, and I think that really showed tonight. I think it also started with our the backside with our D. I thought our D played the best game of the year so far today. Moving pucks up quick, making good plays, and, it makes it easier on the forwards when that happens. Now, I did want to touch on the goaltending tonight for Maryland. Peltier had a couple of big saves going on, especially in that second and early in the third period. When you're facing a goalie like that, you guys obviously put up 6 goals. 2 of them kind of got deflected by Maryland's own players into the net. When you're facing goalies making big save after big save, what's something you guys do that kind of just overcomes that and able to get that offense and the goal scoring back going? Yeah, I think just shooting them on net. I think we had 49 shots there at the end of the game. When we played them a couple weeks ago, he was the same way. He was robbing us left and right. You throw them on net, get in front of the net, good things happened, and
I think the energy was up tonight. The boys felt good, and we just were able to get a few past them finally.
All right, one last question for you, Zach. It is going to be about Monday's game. Going into it, you got a lot of freshmen on this year's team. Maybe they're not in the rivalry as much, but going into it, what's something you guys are looking forward to on Monday when you play UNC again, back at PNC Arena, trying to get that Governor's Cup back?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a fun time. It's a great time of the year. We love playing in this game, and I think the message to the younger guys is kind of like, hey, take it in, like enjoy it. But at the end of the day, it is a game. Lots on the line. A lot of implications, so enjoy it, take it in, but when that puck drops, it's time to go. And we hope to see everyone there.
Well, another goal scorer tonight for Zach Herman. He leads the team in points this year. Phenomenal job so far from Zach. We'll be back with coach of the Ice Pack, Tim Healy, here on PackTV.
From the top of D.H. Hill Library,
Don Diablo. Oh yeah, this is actually in my studio.
WKNC HD3 Raleigh.
Hey, what's up and what's going on, folks? This is Kid Kinetic, your boy up here at the top of the hour, and guess what I got? A treat that's too sweet to beat.
This is Wolf Bites Radio.
Oh, that's really sweet.
NC State.
We've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
I'm with 2018 lacrosse national champion Christian Gaudy for the FDA's Don't Get Burned Sunscreen Challenge.
Bring it, Daryl.
She's tough, but I won't get burned today. I'm using a broad-spectrum sunscreen.
The FDA recommends broad-spectrum sunscreens with an SPF of 15 or higher with other sun protection measures to reduce the risk of sunburn and skin cancer.
You smoked me, Kristen.
That's because I use sunscreen, so I wouldn't get burned by you and the sun.
Broad-spectrum sunscreen. It's a winning play every time.
From the top of D.H. Hill Library,
Don Diablo. Oh yeah, this is actually in my studio.
WKNC HD3 Raleigh.
Hey, what's up and what's going on, folks? This is Kid Kinetic, your boy up here at the top of the hour, and guess what I got? A treat that's too sweet to beat.
This is Wolf Bites Radio.
Oh, that's really sweet.
NC State.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
We're back with NC State head coach Tim Healy after a 6-4 win for the Ice Pack over the Maryland Terrapins. Coach, your team's in a groove right now, about 6 goals a game for the last 3 wins in this 3-game win streak. What do you like the most about the way your team's playing right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bizarre game, isn't it, right? We had those 3 games up in Northern Virginia. Our shot totals were actually very similar. We couldn't score at all. And then since that third period against Texas A&M, first game, they've been finding the back of the net. And so, one of it is you see confidence again, right? And it's so funny, right? You're confident, and pucks that really probably shouldn't go in do go in. They find a way. You're putting pressure. We talk about puck luck, but a lot of times you create your own puck luck with the pressure you're on it, you're constantly in their zone. Actually, the expression I use with my U10 girls teams, what turns coal into diamonds? Pressure, right? And you're seeing some of that now. And so they've adjusted, and they're finding it's inexplicable sometimes too, right? So.
Yeah, and there were a couple that just kind of deflected off of Maryland defenders and in past Peltier tonight, which seems like you kind of need sometimes to beat him. What was it like, or I guess how much of an advantage maybe is it, even though North Carolina will see him tomorrow, that you get to face a good goaltender like him before you have to take on Joel Hughes again on Monday?
Well, my guess is actually we're not going to face Joel Hughes. I think we're going to face Lucas Brown on Monday, and he's playing well too. And it doesn't matter whether it's Hughes or Brown. It really doesn't matter. They're both good goaltenders. Brown's really played well this year, and Hughes has had our number at times. So, yeah, I think it does breed some confidence. And, the A&M goalie was solid too, right? So it breeds some confidence. But there's a lot that I like tonight about how we're moving the puck. We were attacking at speed too. Our neutral zone puck movement was probably the best we've had all season.
Well, and as we kind of start to look ahead now, as it is the next game, Governor's Cup, always a good game. And you talked about it with Delaney Kearns on the Coaches Show earlier this week, and you've got the Governor coming to drop the puck. It's a big show. But you do have a lot of guys that played in front of about 20,000 outside
26,
last year.
26, but who's counting?
So, I mean, I would assume it's not a concern, but it's a bit of a different environment. Is there any concern that it might be a little bit underwhelming compared to the last big game?
No, there isn't, and for a couple of reasons. One, it's UNC.
Yep.
Two, there's a trophy on the line. Three, if you saw kind of the latest rankings where, they were ahead of us last week. This week we moved ahead. Not that it really matters until you get to the end of the year, but there's a lot riding on this game, right? You play 4 regular season games against them. You get this second one. One of the things we talked about after we came back from Springfield was we had 3 games before UNC. Go 3-0 and then treat it like a mini season, and then UNC becomes your championship game of that mini season. And that was kind of the mentality we wanted to go into it. And frankly, I'm sure it's the mentality they have going into it as well.
Well, and you kind of mentioned it's going to bookend this first semester of the season. Then you got a long break, plus you got some guys that are going to be away, including yourself.
I am, yeah.
Over in Europe.
And by the way, I'm glad I'm taking Newman 19 on Maryland with me. I'm glad, I'll be happy to have him over there. Yeah, so the long break, but for those of you that, I don't know if you talked about it on air, but ACCHL has put together a bit of an upperclassmen all-star team to go and play Red Bull's U20 team, Slovenia's U20 team, Italy's U20 team, and Croatia's U20 team. So we're using Slovenia as our home base, but we're going to play games in 3 different countries, which means it's almost like a little bit of a World Juniors flavor for us, because we have games then. And just like when you see in the World Juniors, the college season doesn't stop. So some of those guys are away. So, we'll have Zach Robinson with us. We're going to have Garrett Arini with us, Ricky Frosch, Alex James. I'm missing one there because we're taking a whole line. So anyway, it'll come back to me. But my point is that means the guys back home have to come out ready to play.
Well, it seems like it's pretty much a routine right now for this team.
Oh, Brushy's going.
It's another 5-goal game for NC State tonight. So again, head to the Village District Mo's. Say queso goal, get your free queso with your order. But Coach, as you get set, we've talked plenty about it, but as you get set for this game to finish off the first semester, what other than a win, what do you want to see out of your team at PNC on Monday?
I just want to see a win. That's all that matters. So, all right, and we know how to get that win. We know when we're playing our best. It's almost, coming through the neutral zone tonight almost looked like soccer. 1 touch, 2 touch, and getting it in and making good runs to the net and getting traffic in front.
All right, Coach. Well, congratulations on the win tonight, and we'll see you again. We'll do it on Monday at PNC.
Hold on. Hey, Wolfpack Nation, I called out UNC fans because they never show up for these things. So we need to make sure you show up, show out, and that we, kind of make that blue squad look very much in a minority of fans there like we always do.
Well, it's certainly going to be a great atmosphere as we expect. Another good one coming up on Monday, but tonight NC State prevails 6-4 over Maryland. I don't think so. They put you on the...